magnets, how do they work? Hey, tonight on the Sometime Show, President Biden and disgraced, twice impeached former President Trump traded jabs over age and vitality. They then both hobbled back to the home for a nap before bingo. Also, climate change has already passed horrific milestones, meaning if we don't act now, we may all die. So, what color coffin y'all buying? Plus, does Martin Shkreli in fact have a smaller, more punchable face somewhere on his body? We might get around to talking about it. And finally, Joe Rogan is here to teach me how to peak 10 years ago. All that except for the last, tonight on the Sometimes Show. I think I just put up the wrong one. It's supposed to be just me. Oh, now y'all got a sneak preview. I'm sorry. Shit, I ruined it. And also, if that whole bit at the end where I'm like, on the sometimes, that's how you talk really slowly as you try to remember which indicators in your thing correspond to the shortcuts that you have to press. That was what that was. Welcome to the Sometime Show. I'm Jimmy Snow, and I really just hope that's enough. It's March 1st, 2024, and the world is one day closer to over, which I find oddly comforting. That's actually kind of beautiful. And by the way, it is the first, so rent is due. I'm sorry for those of you who are putting that off or had forgotten. Sorry to be the one to remind you. Once again, we are broadcasting simultaneously in both vertical and horizontal formats, and we've made some adjustments to make all of that better. To the person who I was like, hey, who's already sending me production emails? How dare you? I ended up doing exactly what you suggested in that email. So I want to withdraw my criticism of the person who I told I might get a little mad at because I ended up following your advice, or kind of. Anyway, before I introduce my guest, a little aside, my birthday is actually this Tuesday, and for my birthday, what I want is for you to get yourself a gift by going to linemerch.com, linemerch.com. Link in the description. I think I probably put it there. And be on the lookout this weekend because there's special birthday merch coming of my own design. Matt and I, Dillahunty. Yeah, I name drop. Fuck you. We're actually going to be doing like a competition for March. It's both of our birthday months. And mine, the one that I have coming out, is really funny and very awesome. I don't remember if I told my guest, who I haven't introduced yet. Just shake your head or not if I told you what my idea for the new merch is. For the birthday merch. No, okay, I'll tell you later. Anyway, on to the show. I'm very, very excited to introduce you to a friend of mine who I legitimately, I mean this. And look, I've probably said this about other people who have come on. Every other time I was lying. When I say that this is one of my favorite people in the world, one of my favorite is a broad term. This person is in the top 3 for sure. And spots 1 and 2 are myself, because as the comment sections have pointed out, I am a narcissist. That's who can diagnose you, people in comment sections. Anyway, one of my absolute favorite people in the world who I think you are going to love. She's an incredible musician, a hilarious comedian, an insightful human, an incredible friend who will remember to unmute her mic in half of a second as she comes on. You may recognize her from going massively viral, armed with only a measuring tape. Please welcome my guest today, Cera Gibson.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here. I wish we had a live audience because I feel like that warranted a sort of, yeah.
That would have been so good for my ego.
My ego is half the reason I'm adding guests to the show in general, because I'm just like, as I'm saying jokes to the camera, you know, half the punchlines are, haha, bad penis. To hear nothing, no, just crickets every time is a little soul crushing, to tell you the truth.
So you could see me just chuckling during the entire intro.
I have a monitor over here that shows me my camera, your camera, and then what the horizontal stream is showing and what the vertical stream is showing. The amount of production in this show is fucking over the top. And by the way, that was really rude, those things you did off screen. And I don't think hygienic. My goodness.
No, not at all. I'm not even wearing shoes, so not appropriate
I
remotely.
I can't wear shoes for this show. Okay, I'm about to break people's immersion. Is that what it is? So as you can see, I can, without touching anything, I can do shortcuts. I can switch the video up. I can, my hands are, it's because I literally have foot shortcuts, but I can't feel them if I have shoes on. So I have to have, I mean, I'm in socks, but I have to have my feet out of shoes.
I think people are going to be, you shouldn't have revealed that. That's somebody's into that for sure.
Oh my God. I accidentally put free feet on Instagram a couple of times where it's just like me leaning back on a balcony, just like having a cup of coffee and my feet are up. The messages, the comments, I did not appreciate them. Well, and you could kind of see the curves. That's the thing they want to see, is that curve, the arches of your feet. You could see both of mine, though at least not right up against each other. Okay. I keep forgetting to not put my glasses on while I'm near a microphone. They talk. Shit. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway.
The glasses talk?
Yeah. These talk. They're smart glasses. I can take pictures with them. I just took a photo, or I can take videos with them. Yeah. They're dope. They're made by Meta, but I'm not sponsored, so fuck them. Cera, who are you?
Exactly as stated.
Yeah.
I'm a silly little guy in a skin suit that makes silly online content and tunes.
Yeah, your YouTube is blowing up, because I originally was exposed to you on like Instagram, and then your TikTok blew up also, and now your YouTube's coming along. I've been so happy to see. There's so few people in the digital creator space that I think deserve to be there. Certainly not myself, by the way, but I believe you do, and I'm so excited to see as you grow. And I'm going to make everything sad. I'm going to try to make you laugh and cry in this episode.
Oh, please do. I want to experience the full range of emotions. But thank you. It's funny. It's blowing up with my shorts. So people are going to like click on the full videos, and there's like a vlog from 5 years ago of me like, I'm going to the studio. And it's me and my friend in his bedroom on his laptop.
Cera's saying she'd appreciate it if you'd watch her shorts and not her long form horizontal content at the moment.
Not yet.
Yeah. People already in the live chat. Show us feet. Not doing it. I assume that was directed at me. Jimmy is turning 47. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Great.
For 47, but not for what I'm really turning, 34. But for 47, I look amazing. For 47. Phenomenal.
For 47, I would be absolutely stunned. 34, you still look great, though.
Oh, we're incapable of being mean to each other because we love each other that much. We're going to, do you want to just jump in? Should we do the thing and then let other organic conversations flow in the future segments, but get the one you might be anxious about out of the way?
No, absolutely not. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. We're going to move on to Roast the News here in just a moment. But before we do, I want to introduce today's super chat question of the day, which I forgot until this moment we were going to do, but it's ready. Super chat question of the day. Will America ever abandon capitalism? What will it take to leave it behind? If you are watching live, send a super chat of $5 or more with your answer. And we'll read it out at the end of the show. If you are watching after the live, why don't you just, I don't know, leave a comment or whatever shit, hit the like button, do those things that they say helps the algorithm. But in reality, I don't know that anything helps the algorithm except if you see my video and you click it and then you stay. I really think that that's the only thing that matters. But they say it's other things. They say so. All right, we're going to now move on to Roast the News. This is, and I even have a thing. Did I reset? You know what? Why don't you tell people about yourself for 20 more seconds? Because I just realized.
I'm going to look directly into the eye of everybody as well, because I've just been staring at your beautiful face this whole time. I don't look it, but I do hail from Hick heritage. I'm from a very rural part of North Carolina, and I'm also an ex-Mormon like Jimmy.
Yeah.
And that's very exciting. We can maybe even get into that slightly.
Cool. That's a very specific,
20 more seconds.
Where in North Carolina you are is a very, very specific detail. I don't know that I would let the internet know those types of things.
Well, I'm not actually there anymore. And most of North Carolina is rural.
And what brand of toilet paper do you enjoy? Let's just get super specific. I'm a Charmin Ultra guy. What's that?
I just go with vibes. That's it.
For toilet paper?
Yeah, I'm like, that one looks fine.
Okay.
3-ply, happy.
I got to think that this must be a thing that I'm realizing as I'm asking you about it. It's probably a thing that really only people with like a bit of an irritable bowel put that much thought into, and making sure of the consistency. And, you know, if you're having a bad day, what after the 9th visit isn't causing some sort of chafing or bleeding? I guess this probably isn't something the average person thinks that much about.
I definitely think about the ply. And when I was flying to Ireland recently, I've got to tell you, Ireland, they don't know what 2-ply is. They barely even know what 1-ply is. It disintegrates in your hand the second it touches moisture.
You let it clean itself in an open breeze. All right.
Yeah.
It is Sarah's first time here. We're going to make it a little bit easier on her this time. We're not going to do what we did with Dom. We're going to let her get the rhythm down. So today, we're actually both going to be reading stories written by me, but I'm going to try to bully Cera into writing my jokes next time. I know she can do it. She's fucking hilarious. But this time we're making it easy on her, but we'll still have that fun twist. Cera hasn't gotten to read any of these stories in advance. She'll be reading the stories and the jokes for the first time. And to be honest with everybody, I do love you people, like the audience, but for the most part today, I'm just here to see if I can make her crack up a bunch and see if I can stop her from actually making it to the end of a story without cracking up, without breaking. So, what the fuck is this? Microsoft Net Framework. The product cannot access the file. Well, as long as we're still online, I don't really give a shit. Oh, something to do with VMix Social. Okay, well, great. You guys, we're still up. So
Fabulous.
yeah, fuck you guys. My computers threw up a thing. Without further ado, Cera, why don't you go first?
I am so excited to read this just raw and live.
Me too. Okay. Did you find the spot where you should start? There should be like an R3.
Yes.
Okay. Go.
Okay. Donald Trump and Joe Biden had competing events at the Texas-Mexico border yesterday, where both men pointed fingers at each other for the border crisis. Notably, Trump attacked Biden for his administration's lack of action at the border, and Biden rightfully pointed out that Trump had sank the bipartisan border bill recently considered. I think we can all agree that these two men slinging insults at each other from several miles apart isn't going to actually resolve anything. So here's my solution. Get both men to the border, make them shake hands, and while their hands are embraced, push them both into Mexico and leave them there. They're both 100. You don't even have to push hard. They're not getting up from those broken hips.
I love it.
Absolutely stunning.
You sound a little bit almost like a computer, like a good computer Siri sort of thing, with maybe the speed turned up just a little, with just a little extra speed. It's very. I would want to read the news in that voice in the morning, like just pull the thing and be like, I'm too tired to look at this, and then just have. It's a good news reading voice.
It's when you're watching a video, but you don't want to like consume it in the regular amount of time. That's what I try to convey when I'm giving information.
Yeah, I feel that. In Trump legal news, 3 things have happened. First of all, today, the Florida judge in charge of Trump's classified documents case will decide when they're going to hold their trial, which might be announced actually while we are live. Cera can attest to, I actually checked to see if that was done before we started, and it hadn't yet. Secondly, the Supreme Court has decided to hear arguments in April related to whether or not a president gets total immunity for crimes they commit while in office. And this has taken some people by surprise, as the lower court ruling was actually pretty airtight, meaning there are some who have questions about whether or not this case was accepted because the extremist Supreme Court wanted to help push Trump trials to like after the election. And if you're watching right now, I want you to show some restraint. You shouldn't assume that the court, the extremist court, is trying to find ways to act at the behest of Donald Trump just because that's definitely what they're doing. It is completely obvious that that's what they're doing. doing, but you shouldn't assume that's what they're doing, but it is what they're doing. And lastly, Trump's legal team has requested that they be allowed to put up only a $100 million bond instead of the $400 million he owes that, if you remember that civil fraud trial in New York, $400 million judgment, after essentially revealing that the supposed billionaire can't afford it. However, the Trump team is confident they can come up with $100 million as they are about to release a new NFT featuring him with this like banana-sized cock bulge. When asked, his team responded, "Yes, Your Honor, his fans are that stupid."
I want to see that.
Go ahead.
I want to see like the purple dick Thanos version in NFT form of Trump with the banana yellow bulge.
Yeah, it's entirely believable though. Did you ever see the ones that he did before the NFTs where he's like a superhero and he's all jacked, or you'd be like a sexy lumberjack, and it's like, what the fuck? What reality? And the worst part was, like his shoes, they sold super well. All of these things, like you want the scams to fail, but he succeeds. And so I don't know. He's got to draw in a banana bulge because he can't make one by himself.
He absolutely cannot.
As Stormy Daniel revealed in her book.
Oh, which is such sweet victory, to be honest with you. Okay. In a warning to Putin, French President Emmanuel Macron. Is that correct? Is that Macron? Okay. Macron. Emmanuel Macron raised the possibility of sending Western troops to defend Ukraine if Russia continues to advance. In response, Donald Trump issued the following statement. "You don't talk to daddy that way."
You got to do a Trump impression.
You don't talk to daddy that way.
Oh, that was even better. That was the best. Wait, do the whole sentence again that way. Well, introduce and then do the voice. That's, yeah. Just that sentence.
Okay. In response, Donald Trump issued the following statement. "You don't talk to daddy that way." President Putin did warn that Western troops in Ukraine could result in nuclear retaliation, to which I just want to say, do it, bitch. You think I like it here? Meanwhile, people close to Putin say his mind is slipping and he often gets confused. This became extremely obvious this week when he let a topless horse ride him. And I believe it would happen too. There's no letting about it.
We know the reverse has already happened, and are there people at your home? Are you allowed to yell?
I can yell. Yeah, I mean,
can you take it back from
video games? But
can you do President Putin did warn, and then like really commit to do it, bitch? You think I like it here? Can we try?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. President Putin did warn that Western troops in Ukraine could result in nuclear retaliation, to which I just want to say, do it, bitch! You think I like it here? Meanwhile...
I love it. I fucking love it so much.
Okay, now I know the energy I need to command.
There we go. Actually, keep going. Yeah, keep going. I want do the whole...
Okay, do it, bitch. Meanwhile, people close to Putin say his mind is slipping and he often gets confused. This became extremely obvious this week when he let a topless horse ride him.
So the thing I love about that joke is, one, I mean, I love jokes that people actually have to understand. Like, you actually have to know something to understand it. So that's a reference to he did a photo op years ago of him riding a horse without a shirt on. But my dude is not built to ride without a shirt on. And far be it from me to body shame anybody. I look like I've eaten a Vladimir Putin. But I know when is appropriate for me to ride shirtless with on a horse. And were I where he was, I would not have. But also, the phrase topless horse, does that actually mean a horse without a shirt? Or is the top of the horse is missing, perhaps, is because a horse sort of has many segments. Anyway, here we go. Mitch McConnell has announced that he will step down as, I was seeing if I had the photo wrong or something. Mitch McConnell has announced he will step down as minority leader of the Senate this November. The Senate honored his decision by observing a moment of silence mid-sentence. I got to retake that one because I chopped it up. The Senate honored his decision by observing a moment of silence mid-sentence. I feel like it's such a good joke that I ruined by fucking it up and retaking. Anyway.
I need to stop reading along because it ruins it ahead of time, and then I'm like, tee.
I kind of like it. Mitch is going to finish out his Senate term, which ends in 2027. And if you really think he's actually going to make it to 2027, I'd like to introduce you to my bookie. In the Senate for nearly 40 years, and as the leader of his party for nearly half of that, I think we should thank Mitch for the two very important things he did. One, he made it extremely clear that we desperately need term limits. And two, perhaps most importantly, he raised awareness of shit. It's because I'm trying to make you laugh that it's making me laugh knowing I'm trying to make you laugh.
Stop looking at me.
And
I'm
two,
going to laugh, Jimmy.
I'm looking in the teleprompter. I have a teleprompter. I'm not even looking at it. And two, perhaps most importantly, he raised awareness of an underserved community, human turtle chimeras.
Chimeras.
Look at him. How do you pronounce it?
No, it's chimera. I think it's chimera. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
It's
I thought
so
you were making fun of
incredibly
the way
specific.
I said it. Yeah.
You know something the rest of us don't.
Yeah. It's all America. A moment of silence for May. It's the way he freezes.
That was really good.
Thank you. Well, that's
I
one
can
of my
imagine.
few
Like
skills.
I saw the jowls form as you were saying that.
This is all you.
Okay.
Good luck with this one.
A Twitter. I already saw a phrase that I know is gonna. Anyway. Now I can't look at you. Stop. Okay. Okay. A Twitter post from 2023 from the Heritage Foundation, which is totally not a Christian fascist organization, resurfaced this week where the group calls for an end to recreational sex. The group is also opposed to the use and availability of birth control pills and seeks to criminalize all porn in the U.S. This all comes in the wake of the Alabama Supreme Court making IVF essentially inaccessible, which the group sees as a great first step on the way to ending all recreational sex. Step 2 is to go for the source, horniness, which they plan to fight by distributing naked photos of Donald Trump.
There we go.
Impossible to stay horny in the face of a naked photo of Donald Trump.
1000%. What's funny is when I said good luck, I thought I had given you a different story, and it was this one, and you'll see why in a second. Back to the Senate. You are no doubt aware that Alabama has now essentially cut off IVF services to families seeking help and having children. In response, Senator Tammy Duckworth introduced a bill at the national level to try and protect access to IVF. The bill was introduced under unanimous consent rules in the Senate. Unfortunately, that means any senator can block the bill from making any progress. Enter now Mississippi Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, who we fact-checked this. That's her real face. Anyway, enter Cindy Hyde-Smith, who put a stop to the bill, citing it didn't prohibit cloning or human-animal chimeras. There's that word again. This completely ignoring that laws, actually, I'm not kidding, there are laws that already ban both of those, including one called the Human-Animal Chimera Act of 2023. That's on the books, people. After hearing about the opposition to human-animal chimeras, Mitch McConnell approached the camera, began spitting up silk, wrapped himself in a cocoon where he will now stay until the end of his term, when he will emerge as a human-turtle moth hybrid and then fly to the moon.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that that's something that's on the books for real?
That's a real law. The Human-Animal Chimera Law of 2023. They actually did one first in 2020 or 2021. So it was called of 2021. And then they were like, we didn't nail the chimera. We got to do another one. We got to really make sure we got this shit covered.
Is there like precedent for making that a law?
Yeah. People
it started with Mitch
dogs.
McConnell.
Turns out I had another.
We can't have it again.
I had another trick up my sleeve.
Oh my God. Okay. Tyler Boebert, 18-year-old son of Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, has been linked to a series of crimes in Rifle, Colorado, involving vehicle break-ins and identity theft. So between her son's crimes, her arguably illegal behavior recently in a Colorado theater, and the crime her ex-husband was committing when they first met, Please, Lauren, do tell us more about the Biden crime family. Or maybe you'd like to go on about the conservative family values, even though since you took office, you have yourself gotten divorced and become a grandmother from the same son knocked up from the same son knocked up his
who
teen
knocked
girlfriend.
up his teen? Yeah.
Who knocked up? No, it's okay. Same son who knocked up his teen girlfriend while still a child himself. And while I can't speak to their home life, I do have to wonder how much your parents are encouraging your intellectual development when you get caught on camera doing crimes wearing the hoodie from your mom's old business.
Literally did.
Not kidding.
Literally
did that. He did that. That's it's like he wanted that to happen.
I want to get
Maybe
caught.
it's a mass PR stunt.
It literally said Shooter's Bar and Grill as he's breaking into people's places.
In Rifle, Colorado.
Yeah, that was Lauren's old bar.
How absolute. That's just life imitating art. Okay. These conservatives are such daft hypocrites that at this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see Lauren Boebert walking into an abortion appointment wearing a MAGA hat and a hoodie from a vegan restaurant.
All right, so I do want to say, it is hard for people who are watching. It is hard to read things for the first time. You don't necessarily know if you need to start speaking sarcastically, for example. Maybe I should put sarcasm markers in there, like little things in parentheses, like sarcasm, because I
need stage notes, Jimmy.
Yeah, it was meant to be. So between her son's crime, her arguably illegal behavior recently in a Colorado theater, and the crime her ex-husband was committing when they first met, please, Lauren, do tell us more about the Biden crime family. Because she's got a crime family.
Oh, the Biden crime. Okay, well, you should have put it in italics. And
That's
then I
right.
would have been like, the Biden crime family.
Or done the SpongeBob text. The Biden crime family.
Biden crime family.
Every other letter. So anyway, it was still great. This is genuinely. I found out how hard it was when Dom and I were doing it the other day. It's tough. All right. In entertainment news, some of you are not going to like this one. I just want to warn you all. I'm going to give some hot takes up in this bitch, and not everyone's going to agree. Actually, I think a lot of people will start to hear my takes and think that I'm going down a misogynist direction. And then when you actually, if you just stick around, you'll realize you probably agree with me. In entertainment news, actress Drea De Matteo, best known for her role on The Sopranos, says the adult content site OnlyFans saved her life. So yeah. Get off my back, Dad. You think you're so great because you're like a doctor and shit, but who here is the one really saving lives? $3 at a time. I'm going to actually share a potentially very unpopular take here. I am, first of all, a very big supporter of sex work, adult content creation, all of that. That's for sure. And I don't have a but for that. I'm very much a supporter of sex work. However, I do want to insert a really to this assertion that it saved her life. While I don't actually have doubts that could be the case for some people, in fact, that has been the case for some people, something like OnlyFans, the financial independence and all of that have saved people's lives. Drea stopped getting work as an actress after coming out as an anti-vax nut job. And so this kind of actually goes to show you what the perspectives of rich people are like. Because what she is calling saving her life actually boils down to, oh no, she might have had to live a less decadent lifestyle and might have to downgrade her living situation to the living situation of virtually everyone who will read the article that she's saying this in. So yeah, I guess for rich people and famous people, that might feel like losing your life, like dying. And maybe it's the case that I'm getting too cynical, but I don't know if saying, as a celebrity with a large profile, I was able to launch an OnlyFans, but it's a Ludes exclusive OnlyFans to save my quality of life. But that's saving my life. I don't think that maybe is quite the brag these publications think it is. I think they were going for this feel-good story with a feel-good title. And then you just think about it. You're like, this sucks. Because I actually imagine for the thousands of independent creators who are working hard, grinding hard in the work way, I'm phrasing, and going further in their content, that this actually has to be pretty discouraging, especially with the fact that there is always a threat looming from sites like OnlyFans that they're going to abandon those creators, the independent creators, for celebrities who are only posting lingerie pics and vlogs and stuff, because banks prefer that. But maybe I'm just upset because I have a face for radio and a dick for the hidden corners of Reddit. Like those really fucked up Reddits is where I post mine. They're on there. You can find them if you really try. And frankly, people actually pay me to not post on OnlyFans. But if any of you happen to follow her OnlyFans account, I have a request. See if you can buy a custom video from her of her getting penetrated and filled up by a vaccine. She's anti-vax. Did I go too far? Was that a little too? I feel like there were moments in that thing where I was writing it where I was like, this sounds like bad, but it's not. I mean, bring it back. And the fact of the matter is OnlyFans has already, like, people who are creators on there have already been threatened to lose the platform before, literally because of people like her who are like, oh, I have a huge platform. I can go get money on OnlyFans. People will pay because they think they're going to see me nude. I don't actually care that much about and then you don't get to see that. I don't care about the guys who are like, oh, I'm going to see her naked. I'm going to see her. That's just pounding on this was not a specific, that's, on their desk, they were pounding like that. They were pounding on their desk and a desk next to them at the same time. I don't actually care about their feelings and I was expecting to see her naked and she's not even naked on here. But the fact of the matter is that actually does threaten the people who are doing full sex work on OnlyFans. So go fucking do it on Patreon or some shit. But I'm glad you get to keep your fucking mimosas in your beautiful house. And I don't know why I associate mimosas with being like a decadent thing. Isn't that just putting orange juice in champagne?
Yeah, or vice versa. It's actually pretty economic.
It's there's so many like brunch places that are like $8.99 for eggs and endless mimosas. They can't be that expensive.
No.
They always use the worst orange juice at bars too. Have you ever noticed that?
I know. They like water it down or something.
I think it's
Same with the Bloody
powder
Mary
at
mix.
first, and they there's like a crust at the bottom, and they put them in those white bottles with the funny spouts, and you're like, you're not fooling anyone. But the cranberry juice is usually fine at places. That at least is okay.
That's usually pretty safe.
Yeah.
I just go for beer every time. I don't want to deal with multiple liquids.
I don't drink, and I love telling people.
I don't drink.
I actually don't drink at all. So, all right.
So just kidding. Anytime I say that I'm not drinking at an event, people are like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Excuse me, this is a personal choice I'm making right now." All right. Okay, wait. What tone am I supposed to approach this next with?
Your normal tone is, but I think we'll be fine for this one. I don't remember the whole joke. I tune out when I'm writing and talking. It's too annoying.
Fair enough. Okay. In tech news, this week, Apple announced that they were abandoning plans to develop a self-driving electric car. Apple realized they would have a hard time selling a self-driving car since, unlike its normal hardware and subscription models, they'd need to keep the car safe and updated and not entirely obsolete after only 3 years. Plus, there is too much PR risk, just as we've seen with the crashes from Tesla. Apple is much more comfortable with its customers dying while they're trying to text on its phone or driving while wearing the Apple version from Vision Pro. VR driving. Sorry. To celebrate the news of reduced competition, Elon Musk impregnated a white woman.
I feel like maybe I need to put maybe what I should do is tell people all right, just so you know, if there's 2 slash marks before you read a line, that's going to be the punch line. So maybe the sort of the build up, you know what I mean? That might help with some of them too. Cause the whole thing of Apple realized it would have a hard time selling a self-driving car since, unlike its normal hardware and subscription models, you have to make the car safe and updated and not entirely obsolete after only 3 years. And I really liked that one. That's too true. It hurts my feelings.
No, it hurts my feelings. I wouldn't trust a single vehicle manufactured by Apple.
They'd probably try to bring the lightning port back to it. This takes 1 year to charge the whole car. or you have to plug in 50 lightning cables. Adobe is experimenting with the new AI music generating technology that could be incorporated into its creative applications. Listen, Adobe, if I wanted to... I like this joke. Listen, Adobe, If I wanted to listen to soulless music generated by an algorithm based on what computers say would be popular, I'd just listen to Ariana Grande. All right, here's that joke again, but for an entirely different group of people to enjoy. Listen, Adobe, if I wanted to listen to soulless music generated by an algorithm based on what computers say would be popular, I'd just listen to Ed Sheeran. And one more time, because I want to be all-inclusive. Look, Adobe, listen. If I wanted to listen to soulless music generated by an algorithm based on what computers say would be popular, I'd just listen to Drake's dick.
I read that before you said it, and it was too good. I'm so glad that video doesn't have fucking sound.
Is there? I haven't seen the video. I just am aware that his dick is out there on the internet.
No one seeks the video. At some point, it's going to come across you.
Like Two Girls, One Cup. It finds you. Where you're just like, you're having a fine enough day, and then someone just puts Two Girls, One Cup in front of you. Like, fucking assholes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was shown to me when I was like 11, I think. Really just perfect for the growing mind.
I would have been, I think, starting college, but I think it had been out for a year or so when I saw it. Because I remember hearing about it in high school and just like just dodging. Get out of here. Fuck you.
I did my best, but my friends were ready with the bullshit every time.
We fucking growing up as the world was like discovering the internet and there were no rules at first. Like, Jesus Christ, everybody did such crazy fucking shit. Anyway,
well, it was like you would accidentally run into like some deranged porn and a beheading video within like 3 minutes of each other that you weren't even looking for.
Sometimes they combine it. Remember the BME Pain Olympics? Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I do remember that. And it's crazy because now Instagram is like, I saw a whisper of a nipple, you're fucked. And it's like, do you even remember what we used to do with?
We think that your picture smelled like pussy when you took it, so you're going to have to take this one down.
Oh my God. Let's not introduce that into the algorithm. Have the women on the app would be fucked.
People are clicking filters. Smells like pussy.
You get a 4D experience now with the Apple 17 Pro. All right.
Don't make a joke about how they just put a tuna in the remote. Anyway, go on.
Okay. This one's shorter. Okay.
Yeah, this one's really short.
All right. I'm going to try to intuit the way that you would read it. I'll do my best.
Yeah, sure.
Research published in New Scientist revealed that vaping, while not risk-free, poses only a small fraction of the risks associated with smoking. Unfortunately, the research also revealed that, compared to smoking, you will only possess a small fraction of the risk of looking cool. My best.
That's just a silly. I love sometimes just writing silly jokes like that. Like, and let's be honest.
No, I agree that smoking looks cooler. It does.
Fucking does. I would even say like sometimes there are people where I'm like, I don't know, probably not my type. And then they like light a cigarette and they lean against a wall just right. And I'm like, oh, put a baby in me. Goodness sakes.
With the cigarette still in your mouth.
I want the baby to come out with a cigarette in its mouth. Fucking hanging from the umbilical cord. I was born this way.
Is it a boy or a girl? It's fucking rad. That's what it is.
It's a badass.
It's fucking sick.
YouTuber Christopher Luckhart posted a video documenting an abandoned... All right, I fucked my own thing up. YouTuber... I already said his name once, so I don't have to try a second time. This guy posted a video documenting an abandoned McDonald's from 1994 with a menu board that was still intact. And this menu, it was all kinds of flaunting the prices of yesteryear when the price of a meal didn't require you to work 6 days in a coal mine. You could get a Big Mac for less than $3, the whole Big Mac meal for less than $5, and you could get a 6-piece McNugget for free if you promised to vote against gay marriage. It was 1994, people. It was a different time. Meanwhile, fast food chains today are experimenting with dynamic and surge pricing models while hoping no one notices that they're causing a disease epidemic comparable to the tobacco industry. With that in mind, look out for new products coming soon like Juul Big Mac flavored vape cartridges. You'll still die, but much less quickly, as we just learned. Disclaimer, not intended for children. Wink.
Grimace shaped vape cartridges.
Oh my God. Stop, I can only get so erect.
And Grimace lube.
Speaking of
not
erections,
for children.
Speaking of erections, read this one.
Okay. Should I read it in the sexy voice?
I wouldn't. It seems like that'd be a mistake.
Okay, I won't. I'll trust you. All right. In ocean news, National Geographic has published images documenting something that has never been pictured before. 2 humpback whales mating with a special twist that will annoy your Christian parents. Both whales are dudes. What makes the sighting extra special is that this is actually the first time any humpback whale copulation has been witnessed and documented ever, gay or otherwise. But we at the let me start that again. But we at the Sometimes Show demand more research and more answers because I think all of us are wondering the same thing. If a whale can be gay, does that mean a whale can be a bear? Or an otter?
Not an otter. Don't you shame those fat kings. Oh my God. I loved that joke. I was so worried no one would get it. Yeah. If a whale
I should have read that in the sexy. Well, what are you talking about?
If a whale can, I guess okay. I'll explain later.
If a whale can be gay, does that mean the whale can be a bear?
You're right. You should have. At least the punchline you should have. You're right. I'm sorry. That was my bad.
No, it's okay. You ruined it, but it's okay.
Also in ocean news, the scientific community is extremely alarmed at higher than normal temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean right now. This all coming after 2023 was announced to be the hottest year on record. New studies confirming that we've gone well past the 1.5 degree limit that we were trying to avoid before irreversible damage would take place. And many places in the world right now are reporting that they just had what are being called lost winters. We definitely had that in Texas. And I had to burp. And currently, across the world, places are setting record highs before spring even begins. Isn't it crazy that winter is still going in March? I always think that's weird.
I think it's weird too. It
March
snowed
1st.
2 days ago here.
Yeah. Well, I guess that sounds wintry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't try to talk with water in my throat. Anyway, this means that we may have an extremely active and dangerous hurricane season coming up. It can devastate the fishing industry, and it can also wipe out corals and sea life. The ocean is warm right now. The air is warm right now. And I really, really hope that all of you understand what that means. It means it's boat season! Blah, 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 blah! Blah, 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 blah! Get out your swimsuits and head for the beach because Mother Nature is starting hot Earth summer now! Honestly, you may as well because we're all gonna die. We didn't. They were like, hey, we have to do something or we're going to pass these moments and then the world is going to be super fucked and it's just going to get worse and worse. And then we're like, oh, we have 12 years to fix it. I guess we'll just start fixing it in 12 years. And then, and then we just finished breaking it in only 4 because we didn't start. Anyway, so we're all going to die. So
No,
whatever.
it sounds about right.
Go enjoy the warm water.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hot Earth summer.
Hot Earth summer.
Mommy Nature is giving fire.
Oh my God. Here you go. Do you see the photo for this one?
Oh, okay. Okay. That's the me.
That is you.
I took that this day. Okay. I'm afraid. In behavioral science, new studies indicate that those who tend to have negative attitudes, especially for task management, are more likely to put off and procrastinate necessary tasks because of their unpleasantness. I was going to read more about this, but I didn't fucking feel like it, asshole! Get the fuck off my back!
It's just a fun joke. There's sometimes you just do little fun, silly jokes. Doesn't hurt anybody. Little fun joke.
This is also so me because I couldn't get any work done the other day, so I made an entire series of like Twitter polls about procrastination instead of getting my work done.
I feel like your partner's about to come in like, are you okay? Is Jimmy being a dick? What's going on?
What kind of show is this?
And then you just turn around and just yell the same thing. Get off my fucking back!
Get the fuck off my back! Oh, that would hurt his feelings.
Oh, he's so sweet. Back to the ocean. A group of okay, wait, I have to pretend myself for not protect. Prepare.
Protect.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, go. You have to go all the way if you're gonna do that.
A group of international scientists. No, I'm not going to do it as Trump. Back to the ocean. A group of international scientists discovered over 100 new underwater species off the coast of Chile. New corals, lobsters, and sea urchins were among the discoveries. But my favorite was this red little weirdo, which appears to have these fin feet hybrids, which anti-evolution geniuses have always assured us don't exist. You never find someone with half a fin. Where's the transition between fin and feet? When presented with the new fish, creationists were very quick to dismiss it, stating, that's not one of God's creations. That's a butt baby from those gay whales.
The fish is giving, though. It really is.
That fish definitely has two dads.
It's got like a very lacy aesthetic.
Oh, he's fucking fine. That dude showed up for Hot Earth Summer. I'll tell you that much.
No, he did.
That's what I know.
Feet and all.
Oh my God. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. That is it for Roast the News, but we aren't done talking about what's going on yet. Well, do you have any thoughts before we move on to our /news?
No, I just want to learn a little bit more about those gay whales.
I know. I'm like, oh. Okay, so actually, the thing is that they don't know what it is. And so they're like, we don't know. One of the whales appears to be sick, but because of whale behavior, they're like, it really could be two things. One, it could be the thing we all hope it is, that whales actually comfort each other by fucking each other. That it's like, well, I'm sorry you're sick. Here's a little fucking fuck.
Sweet.
You want a little fucking fuck?
Here's
or the problem is, the alternative is, you're too sick to stop me. That's the two choices right now, and they don't know which. So it's kind of like...
Oh, I love like the smarter an animal is, like the less consent.
Yeah, there's a lot of really unfortunate things happening in the animal kingdom. So while we want to celebrate that there are gay whales, don't Google more than that. Just leave it. Just be happy about the gay whales and not what it
Slap it on a
be.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is, but it's wild because there are other whale behaviors to make it kind of seem like could be this, could be that, who knows? But they've literally never seen humpback whales fuck ever outside of this. Well, I should say no one has seen and documented. Perhaps there are people who have seen and just been like, you will not believe what I saw when I went fishing today. It was...
Two queer whales out there.
Give me 10 minutes. I'll find a video that it was the most similar to. They're in my archive. I got them. It was like this. And then it's Two Girls, One Cup. No, but nobody's actually seen. Why'd you bring it up? Nobody's actually seen. Nobody's actually seen. I gagged. Nobody's actually seen what I have very, very weak gag reflexes. All my levers.
Now I want to gag because you gagged, because I'm the same way.
You're a sympathetic gagger. I don't even like the word gag. Making the word gag is such an asshole. Oh, there we go. I'm so sorry.
No, it didn't even happen yet.
Did you see years ago when the video of me eating sushi for a fucking like a charity thing? We hit the goal. It was like $15,000, and so I had never tried sushi because I knew I would hate it. And people were like, all right, we hit it. You got to try the sushi. You got to try it. And so I did. And I literally threw up on stream. So disgusting.
Are you? Wow.
I don't eat
Sushi's
anything
one of my favorite
seafood.
foods.
Oh, seafood's disgusting.
Okay, that's fair.
Raise fish. For real. Raise fish sometime. You will never, ever eat it again.
But have you raised fish?
Yeah. I used to have a giant saltwater tank. It was like 140 gallons. I raised fish. I raised eel. I raised shrimp. I didn't have a lobster. That's about the only one, but those are just giant cockroaches. And they're fucking, this is what I always say to people. Cause whenever they would come over and they'd see my fish or my eel, they'd be like, oh, what's its name? And I'd be like, I don't fucking name it. Are you insane? And they're like, why not? I'm like, all right. Imagine you're a dog and what your dog eats. Now imagine if instead of feeding it dog food, you fed your dog smaller dogs. Would you name a dog that you fed smaller dogs? Because that's like they're all carnivores or whatever it means when you eat fish, pescatarians. They're all pescatarian and they just eat each other. Sometimes like ones they were just hanging out with. They're like, all right, yeah, you're my best friend. Oh, what? You're a little sick? Oh, you got a little gash on your thing here? No. They just start fucking eating their best friends.
I gotta be honest, if I had a dog that ate other dogs, I'd probably name the dog and the dogs that it was eating.
That's soul crushing.
No, absolutely. But it's something I would have to do.
Did you ever
Like,
dissect a baby pig or
feeding it mice?
a cat or anything? Did you name them? Really?
No, I did not name the fetal pigs. I
That's
really
good.
tried to get out a cat. Do they dissect cats?
Yeah, they did at my school in Wyoming.
That is fucking crazy, Wyoming.
know.
But they're like, we don't have enough of a budget, so we're just going to scrape up what's left on the
They're
road.
like, people out here eat fetal pigs as a delicacy. We ain't gonna, but we fucking hate cats.
Holy shit.
There's two things
No,
we
I
love
tried to
in
get out-
Wyoming: dogs and whites. You give me a white dog, that's the best.
White dog.
There's not
You're a Caucasian, sir.
a lot of black folk in Wyoming, I'm afraid.
I know. I went to Casper, Wyoming on tour 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I literally saw an LGBTQ flag with a cross in it, like no gays
Yeah.
here in one
Yeah.
of the neighborhoods. I have never seen that in my life.
It's funny though. It's funny how like because there's not as many non-crackers around to piss off, the examples of people who are like blatantly racist, like to that level that they're going to go hang a flag, is actually less than like when I lived in Louisiana, there were people that had like fucking Confederate flags and then like crosses that they would put Christmas lights on, but they blinked because they weren't supposed to represent Christmas. They were supposed to represent a burning cross, as in these were Klans people. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's funny how they're like, you go to Wyoming, they're like, oh, we're racist, but when are we going to get to do it? Like, who are we going to, like, they're not around.
We don't get much of an opportunity around here.
You know, by the time we've, get to meet one, our entire interactions are, can I touch your hair? And then they're gone. Cause that's like Wyoming white folk racism. I just like,
Can I touch your? No, me and my bandmate, we stayed in an Airbnb and he's gay, but I was trying to keep costs down. So we were sleeping in the same bed. So they just like assumed we were together. And we kept that assumption because the second that we walked into their house, there was a flag that said guns, God, and glory. And it was a picture of our Lord and Savior with two machine guns crossed in front of him. And I'm like, we better keep the gay stuff under wraps while we're here.
But they, I guess, but Wyoming definitely, in fact, if I'm recalling correctly, I believe Pornhub's stats that they release every year back this up. They hate gay guys. They hate butchy lesbians. But, they had huge Girls Gone Wild events back in the day in Wyoming, in both Cheyenne and Casper. Yeah. They like their brand of lesbians, but it's the ones that make them feel small that they don't like.
Yes. Yeah, they love the femme on femme. That's just universal, I think.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Is Jimmy in witness protection and move states every 5 years is what someone said in the chat. I have moved a lot in my life. I was in Colorado I don't know, I think like 8 years before I moved. But when we were younger, my dad moved a lot for his job, and first military and then his job. And so we moved a lot. And here's the fucking weirdest thing about that. We moved a lot for my dad's job. It wasn't a very good job. It wasn't like you hear like, oh yeah, we have to move a lot for my dad's business. And you're like, he's probably like wheeling and dealing all over the country. He's like, I pretty much just get moved to a new state, and then I try to get an Olive Garden added to the mall. Like that's pretty much what his job was getting Olive Gardens added to malls. In a way,
dude, a national hero, Jimmy's dad.
Olive Garden is terrible. What are you talking about? It's such trash.
I haven't even been to an Olive Garden since like winter formal 13 years ago. So.
I remember I was 13 or 14 the first time I got to try like fresh, like in the place, the breadsticks. I had always thought that because I'd only had the cold ones my parents brought home growing up, that it was like, oh, they're probably not very good cold or whatever. And then I go there and it's like hot and steamy. You like take a bite and you're like, it tastes like cardboard. This tastes like shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
And that's what everybody...
The taste is actually embedded in my memory.
Yeah, I can remember it too. I can remember the cold ones better than the hot ones. It's what people always talked about. I was expecting a Texas Roadhouse level thing where you're like, those bread rolls do not disappoint. That's the shit.
No, they do not.
A little cinnamon butter.
That's the entree right there.
Yeah. And you're like, but you eat one of those fucking things. You're like, is there a way to undo this? Because the taste will be in my mouth for hours. Can somebody just like, will you just get a fucking creme brulee torch and burn the inside of my mouth, please? I'd rather taste my own mouth cooking. Yeah. I need
That's why they have soup, salad, and breadsticks.
A sulfuric acid chaser, please.
Oh my God. Destroy your entire digestive system for the one breadstick for all eternity.
Take it out. I thought you did for your first time. That was great. Honestly, like if you were still that way after 10 times, I thought you did amazing.
Oh, now after I was definitely nervous about it.
Kidding. No, you're great.
Next time, I'll get my Jimmyisms down the next time, and I'll write you some doozies as well. But I will have stage notes or whatever.
I'll try and incorporate something. I think it'd be really fun to do the three of us. You have to meet Dom still, but the three of us, and then we could like. First of all, then it's way easier. Then we only have to write like 5 jokes each. I wrote 16 stories today, but we'd only have to write like 5 each because it's the same length. The segment's the same length, same amount of news. I think that would be just phenomenal.
I'd be into that for sure.
I think it would be
have a little hee.
I think we would have tremendous laughs. I just think you're both so fucking funny. Okay, so. We're going to do a little r/news and then did you see? r/news. Here's the way r/news works. We pull up the news, usually on Reddit, and we see what the internet has deemed the most important right now, which I hope involves kittens. I really, really do. But basically, we just go to Reddit, we pull up r/news, we go by top, and we talk about, discuss, we see, and there's always a chance that it's going to be like, oh, that was the thing we just fucking talked about. But often enough, it's not because the shit moves fast. So let's see here. What's the right one?
r/news. Okay.
Boom, boom. Here we are. Ba-bam. Number 1, New York man sentenced to 25 years to life for killing woman who wound up in his driveway after a wrong turn. Try and make a joke out of that, Cera. That's just dark.
I got absolutely fucking nothing on that one, my guy. That is, I just want to learn more.
I know.
That she wound up in his driveway. That's an incredibly ominous way of phrasing that as well. Did he wind her up in the driveway?
Yeah, that is an interesting. Let's see. It's going to take us to AP, which usually isn't porn. Like I've never seen AP end up as porn, so we can open it. Okay. What does AP stand for? ass penis, I guess. Anyway, a man who fatally shot a 20-year-old woman after the SUV she was riding and mistakenly drove into his rural driveway in upstate New York was sentenced Friday. Oh, yeah, you definitely deserve to go to prison. So,
yeah, what?
Mistakenly drove into his driveway. Basically, sounds like she thought she was in the right place, and he thought it's those fucking idiots who, like, have you ever heard two pieces of white trash talk about, like, you take one step onto my property and I'll end your life? And it's like, that's
absolutely
actually not grounds to end a person's life, taking a step on property, except in Florida. That probably is grounds there, but everywhere else.
Well, and isn't Arizona, someone in Arizona is trying to make that happen right now. Did you see that?
Are they trying to pass a, like, stand your ground law?
Yeah, something like that, where someone's even like in your yard and you don't want them there, you can kill them. But even some of like the conservative sheriffs there are saying, I think that's a little far.
Yeah.
That seems a little unreasonable. What if someone
fucking,
loses a...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, like a kid loses their ball, and so you go over to retrieve your kid's
Kill 'em.
ball, and then you're dead. You're done. Your life has ended.
Shouldn't have lost that
legal.
ball. That's your fault.
Shouldn't have lost
If you
that
didn't want to
ball.
get murdered, why are you wearing that baseball outfit, you two-bit whore?
Why are you kicking that ball around the neighborhood?
Hashtag asking for it. Convicted of second-degree murder in the death of last April of Kaylin Gillis. She was riding in a caravan of two cars and a motorcycle that was trying to leave after pulling into Monahan's long, winding driveway while looking for a party at another person's house in the town of Hebron. I think it's important that people know it's not okay to shoot people and kill them who drive down your driveway. We live in that world that's what a judge thinks is important, not everybody. Like, if I was the judge, I would go, you're going to prison because everyone but you gets this. Everyone else understands. Oh, you need to turn around. Oh, you're a little lost. You don't deserve to lose your fucking life.
Pretty cut and dry.
It's
pretty standard business.
Judge handed down maximum sentence after Gillis' father, boyfriend, and best friend told Monahan and the Pack Court about their anguish and the immeasurable void in their lives. I should fucking say so. What a piece of shit. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he got 25 years because holy shit.
Shot at a car full of people.
More than that girl even got to be alive.
Yeah, no shit. You deserve to spend the maximum time in prison. Led away and a shout of coward from the gallery. I just want to hear any of his defense. Not because I want to I'm like, well, let's hear him out. Because I want to, I
just want to know what kind of person.
Right. The defense had to be stupid. Monahan maintained the fatal shot was an accident and that the shotgun was defective. I pointed my broken shotgun at him, but it was extra broken because I was expecting it to be broken, but then it worked. He also said he believed the house about 40 miles north of Albany was under siege by intruders. And he said he came out to fire a warning shot to try to scare the group away while his wife hid inside. Prosecutors argued that Monahan was motivated by an irrational rage toward trespassers. Jury deliberated more than I don't get the. Jeez, I don't know. There's just those people, and I've known them my whole life. Some of them are members of my family who are like, I don't even take a sidearm off at home. You know what I mean?
No, some of my family as well. Back east, it's like, don't even look at me in a weird way, or your fucking head's off your shoulders, bud.
I remember I had one. This is real. A member of my family who was like explaining the situation where it'd be like, well, when you're at home and they're piling in the door with guns and they're trying to shoot you and then you run out, you're going to wish you had these extended mags. Because it was like, why do you have you're wearing in your house a sidearm and then 4 extended magazines? And you're like, why do you assume there's only one intruder? It's like,
if there was an intruder, I'm out the window. I'm I'm not even trying to interface with these people whatsoever. I'm running down the block naked because that's how I sleep. And that will be a whole scene of its own. Me banging on my neighbor's door, my Mormon neighbor's door naked and screaming that there's an intruder.
You have to help me. Meanwhile, your Mormon neighbor is going to come out with an AK. Like, oh, I've been waiting for this. Fuck yeah.
They open up their fucking artillery.
Yeah. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Fucking- then they get over to your house, they see the intruders, and they're like, Bishop Grayson?
Oh my God.
The intruder is also Mormon. It's well, that was a sad story.
Well, I mean, in this area, that was.
I'm sorry to their family, and that we did still end up
deeply
making jokes, not about the death, but we didn't let it get us too down. And I know that probably is. IRS crackdown on 125,000 wealthy non-filers. Isn't that just wealthy people? 125,000, hundreds of millions of dollars of unpaid taxes are involved. They will start sending out non-compliance letters to more than 25,000 people who earn more than $1 million a year and 100,000 people with incomes between $400,000 and $1 million who failed to pay their taxes between 2017 and 2021. The campaign and now, okay, I don't really care about this.
No, I don't care about it either. I mean, good. Slay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sorry, that's the bare minimum.
They're all just they're gonna file and get out of it. They're rich people. Like there's always ways to, oh, sorry, I forgot. Well, here's all my business expensive. That's a work hot tub. Like
that's a work hot tub.
That's my
no.
That's my
It was a
writing
gift to the
spa.
Supreme Court.
That's right. That was a good thing. Hey. I love wait, because that was that joke had layers. I just realized you're suggesting that Clarence Thomas is going to be getting audited. That's so good.
Thanks.
Oh, I love you to pieces.
I'm warmed up.
Let's see. Michigan communities will share a record $87 million in marijuana tax revenue. But can you put a price on going to hell?
Wait a minute. Michigan. Oh, holy shit.
Michigan took in an extra $87 million in tax revenue because they legalized marijuana. And for some reason, it's still illegal in most of the country.
Michigan did it. That's really telling.
Yeah, there's some like it's in Indiana or something. There are some pretty right-wing places that have done it, and it's just like, but there are these holdouts, including the great state of Texas that I live in, when it's literally like everybody's doing it anyway, and I literally mean everybody. If Austin smells like weed, like the cops there, you can smoke in front of them, and they're just like, what are we gonna do? Arrest them? So we can just chill with them for the afternoon? And like, do you understand what you did was wrong? I guess, man. Like, if you always, like, it's like fucking, if anything, the cops are like, we're only going to pull somebody in our car if we think we could have a rad time with them. Like, fucking pass that shit out. But you know who else fucking
we like their vibes.
You know who else loves marijuana? Rural farmers. They love marijuana. It's the weirdest fucking thing that it's still illegal in Texas, which has a ton of rural farmland, ton of rural ranch land. Like the right wing here are smoking it. The left wing here are smoking it. But basically the right's still keeping it illegal because they're like, right, I don't get arrested because.
Yeah.
But I want the option. I did rub my nipples a little. Pink nipples. I want the option for the nipples with more melanin to don't you get caught with weed. It's fucking such a dark reality we live in.
It is. When it's like that comes before capitalism. Pretty grave.
It was hard to give you, but I had to give you the joke because I wanted to do one of the other ones. And I like put them in order so that there's a flow. It's hard to give you the one where you yell, fucking do it. You think I like it here? I wanted to yell that. So it's like, that's so more people will.
That's why you had me redo it immediately.
Yeah. People will hear you do it the first time and be like, that's a Jimmy joke. That's clearly Jimmy's voice.
Oh, absolutely. Well, now that I've gotten like the cadence of it, I'm like, I can see where Jimmy would be yelling here.
Yeah. Sounding like Charlie Day. Do it. You think I'm scared of you? I want to die.
The inflections. Mastercraft.
Texas farmers claim companies sold them PFAS, contaminated sludge that killed livestock.
Wow.
I don't even think opening the article is going to get... What insight could you and I possibly have on this one?
Literally nothing.
I disagree with killing livestock for contaminated sludge reasons. Like that
contaminated sludge bad.
Yeah, I'm not pro contaminated sludge. Killing livestock for food, clearly I am pro. Guys, I'm fine with that. Look at me, man.
That's I sit peacefully there.
I got the meat sweats right now.
Oh my God. Think of how much of an end of the world like title this is though. Texas farmers claimed company sold them PFAS, contaminated sludge that killed livestock. Like that's just such an end of the world.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is. I love
that.
What are PFAs? I'm not going to find out.
Kind of regulatory. No, neither am I.
LGBTQ group sues to block Texas AG Paxton's request. You know what annoys me about titles like this? I'll tell you in a second. For records about transgender children. Good. That should be done. That's a fucking crazy, ridiculous thing. So super violation of HIPAA laws. Everybody complains about how many letters are in LGBTQ and like the LGBT A, B, C, D, E. And they're like, you literally only missed one letter. You actually correctly said LGBT. Most people prefer Q, but by the way, most people have pretty much come around to you just say queer, the queer community. As long as you don't say fucking queer community,
the queers.
As long as you don't say it like that, it's fine. But meanwhile, they complain about there's so many. How am I going to remember all these letters? And it's always like, you only missed one. And so now I'm at a place where I'm like, why isn't there more letters? If you're going to keep complaining, this title should read LGBTQIA DXWYZZZ. There are 3 Z's. Good luck. Figure it out. Zebras are represented in the queer community. I just want to say that. I'll give you one. Zebras.
Zebras are with the style that they have going on.
Oh my God. It's fucking gay horses is what zebras are.
RuPaul's Drag Race horses.
Oh man. Elon Musk sues OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman for breach of contract. I don't care. Do you care?
I don't care. I don't care about anything having to do with.
I hope their AIs kill each other and take them with them.
That would be great. I just keep like daydreaming. We've talked about this, like all these people just suddenly like have a cardiac event together. And that would be so exciting.
What about like a rapture, but only for people who are cunts? Leave us here.
I would love. That'd be so entertaining.
I was hoping that by using that word that I would be able to come up with a way to combine the words cunt and rapture, but they don't really combine the cumpture. That just sounds like
rapture.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, it's not great.
Eat the rich. I thought this was going to be a story about the old store Blockbuster. It is not. The Blockbuster is still out of business. Blockbuster California stormed to deliver crushing blow of 10 feet of snow and blizzard conditions to California. Well, I hope it hits Musk's house. He moved here. I think Elon Musk might be my neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor?
My neighbor. Man wielding sword shot, killed by Pima County deputy.
Where are you finding this?
Why he was wielding a sword. On r/news. I just started going.
Oh, but did you sort by top?
Scrolling away. No, I don't even think I looked to see what I was sorting by.
Gotcha. Just so you know.
This was 18 hours ago, though.
You did this, and now everyone knows you're gay.
Is that a gay thing?
It was a joke about fingering. I guess it didn't work out, but there was some skill and tactic to it. Is all I was saying. There was a like a waviness around this. Yeah, it was a very dexterous finger contraption.
That's how people will finally know.
I feel like there are going to be so many people who are like, watching Jimmy with his friends. I really like his friends. I hate Jimmy. He's horrible.
What?
I don't know. I just feel like I feel like I come out of my shell more when people are around, and then I talk about fingering a lot more.
Well, I really enjoy that. That's something I'm passionate about,
I'm
Jimmy.
sure you do. Obviously.
Obviously.
I'm waiting for one. I'm waiting to wake up in a body that is not my own. I'm spending the whole fucking day going like, oh, I'm going to see what the fuss is about. Oh.
Sorry. I actually have such a dilemma right now, and I made a flow chart because I have long nails right now and I want to keep my long nails, but it prohibits me from fingering and playing guitar properly. And so I made a flow chart and posted it online about like what would happen if I kept my long nails? What if I only had 8 long nails and 2 short nails?
Nobody suffers the way we suffer.
Nobody suffers. These are the real gay issues.
Welcome to the gay agenda, people. We'll have brunch at 11. It'll be mimosas.
It'll be.
Not that good. Not that good a mimosa. Again,
No.
from my drinking days, what I think I recall is everywhere depends on whatever the mixer is. Because here's the thing about alcohol that they're lying to you about. Most people can't tell the differences between alcohols. Like you put a fucking like 20-year aged scotch in front of them and then just like rubbing alcohol and they're like, oh, I like the earthy tones of the Boebert. You blind taste at them. People don't know shit. Yeah, a little.
Well, I could tell like a vodka from whiskey for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe not by smell.
I was exaggerating a little for the sake of, for a sort of comedic exaggeration. But certainly like among whiskeys, they've done this with wine a bunch of times. Like they will take it, people who are like wine aficionados or with a nice leg and get them to rank wines, and they never can identify that they've put like multiple boxed wines in the, and so they're like giving all of these like this boxed wine, this Costco wine has notes of oak. I think the farmer's wife was pregnant that summer. And they'll like rank them high, and they've literally done even just where it's like, here's 3. Tell me which one is the boxed wine, and they never can beat the 1 and 3. Yeah. And so it's all about the mixer. And you're going to overpay for the drink when your experience of the drink. Also, why would anyone buy an expensive drink if you are already tipsy? Can you experience what makes an expensive drink expensive at that point?
I don't think so.
Like
at that point, it's a mind eraser and the night's done.
You're like, oh, what can I get you? I'm going to have a Chardonnay and with some caviar, I think. And it's literally like, are you trying to make your throw up taste better? Is Chardonnay actually fancy?
Chardonnay is not fancy. I get the box Chardonnay at the bar if they don't have the beer that I like. And I'll tell you, a Chardonnay vomit is one of the most heinous things a person can experience outside of a Caesar salad. Caesar salad vomit is next level.
What about, so what is the champagne brand that people, like it's in a bunch of rap songs and stuff?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. It's does it start with a B?
I don't know. I got nothing.
Rap song.
I've been sober for like 10 years. I mean, I've dabbled. I started drinking quite a bit 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. And then I had to shut that down pretty quick, but got out of hand fast. Turns out I should stay sober.
That's usually what the consensus is if you were sober before.
I was sad. There are people in my personal life making things tough. There are people in my non-personal life making things tough. A lot of liars, a lot of people lying about a lot of stuff, and just made me sad all the time. So I drank and I had to stop. It got dark.
Many of us have been there, so I get it.
Cristal is the one, or Dom Perignon too. But yeah, Cristal. All right, Champagne Supernova sounds like a fucking. Somebody said Champagne Supernova. That sounds like a bukkake thing. Anyway. If you're like drunk but you're still drinking, why would you still order a Cristal at that point? which is, again, just things I remember from years gone past. I love to go out dancing. So it was a lot of clubs and stuff. And so we go out dancing, I'd be out doing my thing. And I would only ever have 1 or 2 drinks if I was out dancing, especially if I had to drive. Usually I'd actually be more drinking like Red Bull. And so I'd be out, and then I just have these friends getting like just fucking blasted. And a couple of them were I won't say that they were rich, but they were Verizon Coke addicts. So they spent a lot of money on... So
specific.
It's a thing. Just so I just want everyone to know, there's some troubling statistics about Verizon workers. If you know someone who works at Verizon, 100% of the time they are addicted to cocaine. Well, that was my
That's
experience.
a really hard statistic.
Yeah.
Like, does Verizon make them a Coke addict, or do Coke addicts flock to Verizon?
Somebody's grandpa works at Verizon right now, and there's somebody watching this, looks over at their grandpa, like, Grandpa, are you hearing this shit? And he's just going, that's not true.
Oh my God, the sniff. That fucking triggers me at this point. Like, being in the entertainment industry, someone's acting a little weird, and I'm just like, God damn it. We're working.
Also, the fucking mouth shape that people get if they do drugs, powdered drugs, it's usually like the ones I'm thinking of, but it's not usually Coke because you can't afford it forever. But the ones, that mouth shape they get, because people will literally like try to hold their nose closed by pushing their upper lip into their nose with their lower lip. So it's...
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
came
the
to wrong
K
part
face,
of town.
1000%. My horse medicine.
Oh man.
Gave a little to my horse and took a little for myself.
I never got to, that wasn't a particular one that wasn't one I got to particularly have too much experience with. But if I were still in those days, I feel like I would have let it ruin my life. I would have let it sounds real good. It sounds like it has all the best parts of all the good drugs and very few of the bad parts, except for I had an ex who her boyfriend before me did a bunch and then slept through the fire that burned down his house and died because it just, the fire didn't wake him up because he had done so much ketamine. Yeah.
It is a tranquilizer. I can see that. I've dabbled in the past. It's not for me. It's a little bit much because like I have social anxiety, especially when it's like really loud and there's groups of people. I like already kind of get disoriented. It's like if you're doing that, you don't even know where you are. In fact, one time I accidentally did a little bit too much and I thought that I was amid sand dunes in ancient Egypt. It was very scary.
You're only selling this to me. Like, I'm like,
I know.
Sounds great. What's the drug you're going to do if they're ever like, hey, you've got 3 months. You got 3 months left.
Oh, it's hard to say. I would like to try heroin.
Yeah, I'm going full black tar.
Like, I just want to see.
Mainline it. Don't take me off of it. If we have to slow drip it, put it in my IV. That's fine. I don't want to have another moment of genuine introspection for the rest of my life. If I know what's going on, you failed me.
Yeah, I think at the end, I probably won't know what's going on because dementia really runs in my family. So at that point, I'm going to think my reflection is my friend's sister. I'm going to think I'm 27. It won't really matter anymore.
I love that.
I'll just have that written.
I just love that anybody our age thinks that they're not going to die in a civil war or a nuclear holocaust or a fucking famine because global climate change. Like,
could be.
You are so optimistic to think that you're going to make it to dementia. That's going to be heaven compared.
Look, I have a lot of barrels of rice from my parents. I think I'm going to be okay.
Did you pick out the weevils? Have you checked them for weevils in a while? Get those weevils out.
No, I haven't. It's been 6 months since I checked for the weevils.
You better check for those weevils. Oh my gosh. I maybe have told you this story before, but watching my mom periodically when they're cycling the Mormon food storage, pulling out the bucket, getting a baking sheet, pouring dry rice on it, and then picking out weevils and then putting that rice into a bags that we then used to cook that week because they were replacing the old stuff. And just, I bet you she missed some Weevils.
My parents did that too. Probably. I'm sure I've eaten Weevils at this point. We also had so much, I don't know if this is like a Mormon thing or if this was my parents' thing, is we had so much dehydrated milk. And I have such a fucking aversion to milk now because of powdered milk. It's just an abomination.
You know what was weirdly good? Did you ever have Storehouse chocolate milk?
I did. It was great.
So good. What is like?
Epic.
There's weird things like that where I'm like, I don't ever want to go to church again, but I'd show up for an event if that's the only way I can. I probably do want to just have a meal that's like funeral potatoes, a glass of that. But then I also want to have a glass of, because no matter how I try to recreate it, somehow I cannot get the perfect sherbet Mormon punch. You know what I'm talking about? Sherbet and ginger ale.
Yeah,
like,
shit's good.
I don't know what brand they were using.
My mom makes it.
And is it the best? I'm coming over.
It's the best. She does it every Christmas.
I'm gonna come
over
meet your
for
mom.
Christmas, Jimmy.
I'm on my way.
She would love you.
I'm gonna start walking now. I'll be there at Christmas time.
Perfect. You know what's funny? My mom. No.
Right?
I mean, a few months. Probably at the end of the summer.
Yeah, you'd be like, "Happy Labor Day! Get the punch out."
I get the punch. My mom was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Your skin is leathery now. What? Because have you ever seen a person who does like a multi-month trek and the texture of their skin just turns to like, you feel like you could just pull jerky off of them.
Yeah, their lips. There's just like a shell of lip around their lip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fun though. They did that.
Somebody on Reddit posted that their friend like walked the entire continental US or something and showed like the before and after. And it was like, all right, he lost a lot of weight and looks very fit, but his skin looks like it had aged like 30 years over the course of just these few months.
There's got to be a way to avoid, like SPF, a nice hat, maybe like an umbrella for the sun. There's got to be a way to avoid that.
My skin is pristine because I avoid the sun at all costs. I've never seen the sun. I've only heard stories.
I've only heard tales. That's going to be us in 20 years.
Are you coming down for the full solar eclipse next month?
To Texas?
Yeah, we're in the totality.
I could make a trip out of it.
That could be cool.
Maybe I will. That's like a once in a lifetime kind of vibe.
And it's not coming back to there won't be a total eclipse where it's the full blockage for another like 20 years after this in the US. Obviously there will be in other parts of the world, but yeah, in the US is the last one for 2 decades. We'll talk.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll make a trip out of it. We'll talk.
Oh yeah. All right, let's get back to I would say our job, but you're here out of the graciousness of your heart. I'm here because I have to.
I'm taking this very seriously.
I'm having fun. What's that?
I'm here because I have to be.
I have to.
Wow. Just kidding.
Fucking hate this shit.
Fucking hate the show.
It's really funny how I'll still get comments a lot that'll be like, Jimmy's a narcissist who just wants, like, there was some recently on the line that are just all analyzing how I'm a narcissist who just loves all the attention. And it's like, y'all talk to any of my friends offline how much I talk shit about being a public figure and just being like, the moment that I don't feel I am necessary, I'm fucking out of there. It's just
I'm out of here. That's like half of our conversation, so I can corroborate this information.
Literally, like my little sister was starting to have some like networking with a lot of people and was working with a bunch of activists and was starting to get attention. And she came to me, she's like, yeah, like my TikTok's kind of blowing up and stuff. She's like, I want to make sure I do this right. So what's the right way to do it? And I literally told her, don't do it. I talked her out of it that night. I was like, here's this. At some point, fucking people are going to find out you're my sister. And then there's a whole group of people. Actually, there's multiple who have like communities. And the whole core of their community is, we hate Jimmy. We will lie about everything he does. We will give the least charitable reading to every word he has. Everything he's fucking people last year. I remember, were saying that I was a Republican now. I'm like, I went from at any point you've seen me on the internet, I have either been a progressive or at around the time of the election, I went hard left. I am so socialist now. Fucking, it's a bit much. Honestly, I get annoyed being around myself. I won't shut up about it to myself. And yeah, you just get these.
It's just because you don't have long hair anymore.
That's probably
what did it.
Well, I'm gonna grow it out to be able to do a little Jesus Christ thing this Halloween. I think that's the goal. If I can get enough inches between now and then. Phrasing. And anyway, yeah, I was just explaining, we're like people, like there are groups of people who are dedicated to hating me. So now when they figure out we're siblings, because we kind of look alike at some point, if you keep growing, people are going to figure it out. I was like, and now you'll have to answer for not the things I did, but the things they say I did. Like, good luck, have fun. And I was like, granted, that wasn't the primary reason. If she genuinely wanted to do it, I would have. But I was like, here are the things I didn't know when I became a public figure. And people behave once you are a public figure as though you consented to these losses of privacy, control over your people's perception of you, control over your reputation, control over people act like you can, you're the one who decided to be a public figure and you have no fucking idea. So I just kind of told her a bunch of stories and I'm like, honestly, as my member of my family who I actually give a shit about, if you come to me, I'm only going to discourage you. But, if you ever have a technical question, I'll show you how to set up a fucking live stream, but don't expect encouragement.
I got you on production.
It's, yeah. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Are you not a production giant?
Thank you.
No, that's so fucking for real. I tell people, I think I might have told you this story on the phone where it's like my bassist, she's not asking for any kind of shit. Like, this is my life. And she just commented under a photo that I posted where it was like, my shirt said, if my nipples want to be the star of the show, let them. And she was like, great shirt. And someone just goes to her profile because she's connected to me, right? And is like, your boobs are a little smaller than I would normally be into, but not too bad, solid tits among the two of you.
Oh,
and I'm
like, God,
will you die? No offense.
Wow. What were they expecting?
Will you cease existing?
Are you sure? Can we show you them? Wait, before you cast your judgments, let us send you our nudes, please. What does he think is going to fucking happen?
So crazy. And she was like, what? And I was like, this is an insane thing to think you can say to someone just because they're attached to me.
That is kind of bananas. Wait, did I not put the updated thumbnail on one of our events here? What we're gonna talk about things we saw here. What's some stuff living in your head rent free while I fix a stream thing here?
The worst shit ever is living in my head rent free. I sent you a link to it.
Okay, it's not the TikTok, is it?
It is.
Okay, you might have to describe it so the one thing I haven't set up yet is being able to show TikToks on here, but I have everything else, all the rest. And I was gonna say before the show, and then I forgot. Hey, just so you know, the TikTok specifically I don't have ready, and of course I forgot. And now you're like, I'm gonna need that talk.
I do have a Twitter X link to the same dude.
Okay,
would that work?
Did you send it to me already?
No, but I can.
Yeah. Go ahead. Send me. Yeah, send me the link to
a visual. I can describe it. Pretty good storyteller, but this needs to be seen truly. And probably a lot of people have already seen it, but I just cannot stop thinking about it. So it's happening.
You know what's weird is it's showing the wrong thumbnail, but I just verified. I actually have the right thumbnail on both. It's showing the wrong thumbnail, the thumbnail from the last one. When I just go to YouTube, yeah, it's fucking annoying.
All right, I got two for you. I got another one because this one is just, I love it.
Let me see.
X is such a dumpster fire, but I've struggled to leave.
I have to tell you, it's rare that I'm disappointed in you, but I'm a little disappointed in you right now. Let me see first of all if audio works. Tell me if you hear
this. I just figured they're all horrible.
Can you hear this?
AIDS medicine and
I hear that.
Okay, good, because I'm going to be showing that in a minute. Let me tell you why I'm disappointed. You're calling it X now. I thought we all...
I call it Twitter, but...
Okay. I refuse. That's my thing. It's like, nope. I'll stop dead-naming your platform when you fucking patch things up with your trans daughter, you asshole.
Twatter. It is still Twitter to me, but sometimes I will exchange.
Is it this one called Driver Pleb? No. No, that's the guy going up avoiding the gay stairs.
I love these. Sorry. Yeah, it's not that one, it's the other one.
Okay.
I love the gay stairs though.
Gay stairs are good, yeah. Okay. All right, so it's a guy, bro needs to be banned from... Okay, let me pull this up here. Host PC.
I bet your peeps have seen this, but...
Oh, I haven't, though, so fuck them. I don't give a shit. Fuck anybody here. All right.
Yes!
Oh, we have to be careful with the music is all.
Oh, shoot.
Is the audio important?
Mute it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not at all.
All right, so he's plugging in.
This man was able to take this equipment on a plane.
What the shit?
Warming up water. He's got his frozen shrimp.
Oh, he's cooking in the bathroom. Fucking the shit people will do for views and for likes right now. It's so fucking heartbreaking where you're just like... No.
Like, did he clean the sink? Because I'm telling you, someone's pissed in that sink. And he's just fucking happy, like chowing away. He's got videos where he's doing this in hotel sinks. He's got one, I'm pretty sure, where he's making one in a toilet.
What is the technique? He's just heating the water. So he's just boiling. So first of all, boiled food is disgusting. Like,
oh, horrific.
This is like British fucking level cooking. Like, oh, I'm going to get me some boiled shrimp. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some, it looks like maybe he makes mashed potatoes, and mashed potatoes could be quite good. There's a boiling element to it, though powdered, gross.
And he did season it kind of the squeezing for me. Like, I didn't need to see that. I didn't need to see it squelch out of your palm. That's my question. Like, did he leave it out for the sake of time? Or did he not sanitize?
Or is he trusting the heated water to sanitize? But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so now you have sanitized fucking cum in your mouth. Like, sure, it won't kill you, but at the end of the day, people jizz in that sink. Right? Like,
yeah, no. He's brewing a new pandemic.
Yeah.
As we speak.
Can I tell you something that's stuck in my head?
Please.
It's this video here. Let me see if is it easy to rewind. Okay. So this is Shane Gillis. He just hosted SNL, but the main reason why this video has been stuck in my head is it's Martin Shkreli. Do you remember Martin Shkreli?
Maybe.
So it's this dude. Okay, actually, I'll just let him set it up.
Was you bought
AIDS
medicine and raised the price by 5,000%?
That's all true.
That's fact. Yeah. Okay, so that sucks. Can you agree that does?
No, I don't.
Martin, your rebuttal?
If you had a manager that was your comedy manager.
So that's him. So Martin Shkreli, he buys the patent for this AIDS drug. The AIDS drug is 70 cents each or something like that. And he raises it to thousands of dollars because he's the exclusive provider of this AIDS drug. And he was the most hated man in the world for a long time because of this. But here's what's crazy to me about this video, because I don't even think about the content of the video. Here, I'll let it play out a little more.
Was you bought
Shane saying
AIDS medicine and raised the price by
basically, this is what I heard about you.
That's all true.
That's fact. Yeah. Okay, so that sucks. Can you agree that does?
No, I don't.
Martin, your rebuttal?
If you had a manager that was your comedy manager and he said, you're great, you're wonderful, your punchlines are fantastic, you work really hard, we're going to sell tickets for 33 cents, and it's going to be great. We're going to make a lot of money together.
Does going to the show save people's lives?
I don't think.
Which is the perfect response, but let me see.
It is.
All the audience has AIDS. In fact, I would say that it's even more important.
Hold on, let me just say this.
All right, and so then the important thing there ends there, because then the other guy makes this like stupid joke. But here's why this is stuck in my head. Everyone just agreed this guy sucks. And then he also, because he did this big thing, they started looking at him for fraud. He got into some sort of legal trouble. I don't remember how long. I think he went to jail for a year or two, but I don't think it was specifically because of this thing. But it was literally just like, you are a fucking predator of a person. And all he did was buy for 70 cents the 70 cent drug patent and puts it up to $1,000, acting like he has But here's it's living in my mind rent free because I'm trying to get into his brain and go like,
Yeah.
he still thinks he can win people over on this. That's what's crazy to me. He has lost this argument 1,000,000 times over, and yet he's still here going like, okay. All right, Shane, let me give me a second, Shane. Okay, give me a second. Imagine, you're a comedian, and imagine that your manager wanted to sell tickets for 33, and Shane obviously like, will that save their
Would
life?
it save
Like,
lives?
right. And he's like, oh, now I think it's even more important. But he's literally, Shane's like fucking right and based on that. But it's not the actual argument he makes because he's already made 1,000 versions of these arguments. The internet and legal people, there's been hearings with this guy. Everybody already, the entire world, no matter how many times he makes this argument, is like, you're wrong. You are a sack of shit. AIDS medication is not a thing to fuck with. People's lives. And like, granted, you're a part of a bigger problem. Like, I'll give you that. If you want to just say like, how am I worse than this company, this company, this company? I'll tell you, you have a point there, except for that you bought the thing and then changed the price. Whereas most of them will have like for example, Ozempic and Mounjaro, Wegovy, these sorts of drugs right now. They just released statistics that over 1 billion people in the world are basically obese with medical problems as a result of obesity. So we're not talking about just like people overweight and people saying, fat has to mean unhealthy. I already know all of the feel good things. As a fat person myself, you go enjoy them. My sleep apnea is horrible and it's because I'm fat and I eat like shit. So anyway, these people, there's a heart disease is the number one killer of people. And right now, they just did new research. Ozempic and Wegovy, Ozempic and Mounjaro. Wegovy is the same drug as Ozempic. It's just a higher dose. Actually, not only do they reduce cravings, you lose weight just feeling like you're not as hungry as often. You lose weight because you feel fuller sooner. The chemical that if you have a sort of disordered overeating problem, which I 1000% have, again, before anybody gets in the comments, fuck you. I am at least 50, 60 pounds overweight. I don't give a like you cancel me. I'm fat. I'm speaking from fat experience. Anyway, it's this drug that like it makes you the hormone that your body should be releasing to say like you're full, stop. When you have an overeating disorder, when you're eating too much and it's also bad stuff for you because you're chasing those serotonin hits and you're trying to eat your problems away, which is my shit. I'm like depressed. So I'm just like Skittles and then cake sounds great. And then even like the foods that are like whole foods that I'm eating, I'm like, wow, fucking, yeah, beef. Fucking chase that, the sweet and the salty serotonin. My brain wants them so bad. And these things kick in and they basically just go, you don't have this hormone. It's not, your body isn't producing it when it's supposed to produce it. So here it is. And don't get me wrong, people have abused it. There have been some people who have side effects, but overwhelming for people who actually could use this drug. They lose weight, which isn't the more important part. They get healthier. And so whether you want to call the losing weight part of the healthiness, obviously a person could overdo it. They could lose too much weight. Again, I know all the things that the comments could say, but they lose weight, they feel better. And these drugs now we know also reduce inflammation just generally through the body. Like it's part of the things that this drug does. And so it's like, there's a heart disease epidemic. It's the number one killer. And these companies, Mounjaro and who has Ozempic? I don't know if it's Pfizer or who it is, but they're just sitting up there and they're just going, we can charge $1,500 for 1 month because who's going to stop us? And their patent doesn't run up until like 2028. So there won't be generic versions on the market till then. Right now, you can try to get generic semaglutide, which is the drug that's in Ozempic, from like a compounding pharmacy. You might only pay $100 to $200 a month. But there's all these issues with they don't know the exact cocktail that Ozempic's doing to get its approval and whatever. And they often get them wrong. And I know because last year I actually tried and ended up getting this sort of like generic Ozempic from and they won't tell you where they even got the semaglutide because they're not supposed to have it. Semaglutide, I think is actually how it's pronounced. Semaglutide. There's all this like sketchy shit around it. So if you can't afford $1,500 a month, Your insurance will only cover it if you have type 2 diabetes. If you're going to have type 2 diabetes, they won't cover it. If you're going to have heart disease, they won't cover it. You have to have it, this life-changing disease, first, even if you're clearly on the way to getting it, even if you have blood pressure problems, hypertension, which these drugs help. Otherwise, they just go, it's $1,500 a month. And if you don't like that, you can suck my dick. Grab the discount card, grab the pharmacy discount card, and we'll take that $1,500. Watch this, you watching? $1,475. But that's out of the generosity of our heart. We're going to just take $25 off that $1,500. Now, can you afford it? It's an actual, like, the thing that is killing the most people. And these somewhat miraculous drugs have finally shown up. And these companies came up and were like, miracles are profitable. And people will die between now and when they become massively available because somebody takes it into their own hands. The way that happened with Shkreli's medication, you got these kids in an impoverished country who literally cracked the code of how to make it generic, and then cheap generic of this AIDS medication got distributed. Until that happens, literally more people will die than need to because these companies are like, what are you going to do? There's nothing. We have these deals with the US government that as long as we do these feel-good projects every now and then, we get to do shit like this and take life-saving medication for quality of life first, but also longevity and like how many people are going to have heart attacks and strokes. And we can put that behind a $1,500 a month paywall. It's fucking dark as shit. Ugh.
I'm sad now, Jimmy.
I know. Sorry, I had a whole thing.
Oh, that's fucking rough. And the whole time I'm like, I looked him up on Google. I'm staring at this dude's like bullshit lipless smile. I'm like, you fuck. Like, he's way too loud for a dude with bangs. He needs to step back. Oh man. No, you got a nice little swoop. I don't. Whatever face you're making right now. Me removing my bangs. Holy shit, that could be like a second fucking light for me.
I've got a little bit of a hair
nice.
recession, but there's very little genetic threat in my family of I probably won't go bald. Male pattern baldness doesn't run in my family.
You got a
nice.
Very solid hairline.
And I'm tall. So these things that I can't control, society just rewards for no reason. White, tall, and hair. I did nothing to get those or deserve them, and yet I get more opportunities. I will be paid more on average. What an incredible, wow. I think I'm going to be libertarian now.
Now that's an arc.
Yeah. Well,
I'm ready for the Jimmy libertarian arc.
Oh, that's my past already. I went before progressive. I was libertarian because I had fallen for this concept of like, I can see that my privilege will get me to a place in the future that's pretty sustainable. And I don't want anyone to fuck with that. Plus I'd like to keep more of my taxes. So fuck everybody else. I'll be getting mine. So fuck anyone else who's getting theirs. I just want to preserve me getting mine. And that's what libertarians are. Fuck you. I got mine. Libertarian party.
Very succinct.
So right now they're just the
I got mine
anti-vax
and I
party.
want to keep it.
You know that they're about to make JFK Jr. Not JFK Jr. RFK Jr. is who they're going to make the libertarian nominee. And
That's
literally he's otherwise left wing except for his fucking conspiracy theorist stuff and specifically vaccines. So that's all it takes to become the libertarian candidate is just be anti-vax now. And that'll get it for you.
That's great. And believe in reptilians. And that's perfect.
Yeah, well, they have a point about the reptilians. The friggin' frogs are gay. What else?
Frogs are gay. That's exciting. We got whales, penguins, and frogs.
Hell yeah.
Oh, what is living rent free? Okay, what I love about myself is I sent you an email with links with no like way of discerning what the links are. So let me check.
Should we look at the gay stairs? The woke stairs?
Gay stairs. I love the gay stairs.
Yeah, let's look at this. I like this too. All right. Man avoids gay stairs by, I would say, arguably going up the stairs in what
a much gayer
appears
way.
the gayest way possible. Yeah.
Sliding up a pole, completely heterosexual behavior.
I'm not, get that gay out of me. I'm just going to lay on this and slide on up. Let me grab these
I
two
love, like-
thick, hot rods. Pull my thumb.
This is what the Mormon church was referring to when they mentioned the iron rod.
That's right. That's right.
And he flexes. I just love how the person that reposted it calls them woke stairs.
I do too. I got to imagine that this, I don't know, is this guy actually, or is he doing a bit? Because after avoiding the woke stairs, he gets to the top and then calls the gays to him. Come to me, men. They're like, who do you think you're going to attract up there, buddy? You're on the woke stairs.
Christ.
Fucking,
He thinks
that's right.
he's attracting Christ.
I love that picture. Have you seen? Did you see this? That's great. That's the thing we're doing. Let me find it real quick. Have you seen
Yeah, show me
the
the
Christ
things.
heroin meme?
Oh, yes, I have. Where it's like Christ's arm that the heroin's being injected into.
Yeah.
And he's
hang
like,
on.
ah.
Pulling it up.
Oh, I
here.
fucking love that.
Ah,
I want that as an album cover.
It's like, let me come back to this.
Oh
this
my
thing-
God. And it's weirdly like kind of like erotic for some reason.
It is. But I love that there was a person who put a caption on it and it just says, fuck you, Jesus, get your own heroin. It's like, this
Possessed by Jesus.
is
Also,
when
the
you know
hand on the back door.
oh, yeah.
What is that?
That's
The Titanic handprint on the back door.
handprints in the sand sort of thing. That's from when I was
I
carrying
also
you to the
love
bedroom.
this. It's like that's Jesus's handprint on that door.
That's right.
It's just like
There's-
classic heroin user, buff, like
Oh my God.
biker guys.
So you have that handprint on the door, and what you can't see behind Jesus's head is a matching handprint on the wall. And now you know what's going on. And that's right at this height with the hips pushed out. We know what's up.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, Jesus.
Hey, yo. All right, let's see. You had this one for me too. Let's take a look at this thing.
See, whatever
Oh,
they
this
are,
was
they're
the
all
shrimp.
probably just fucking crazy and stupid.
That was that
So
one.
there's another. What one's this one?
I get my
Oh,
Let's see.
I've seen this. Actually.
Have you seen this?
Yeah. So it's this weird thing where she is like they're talking about like funny stories that don't sound true or whatever. And she's like, yeah, my dad left me to go be a breakdancing world champion. And then he is like, oh, I love this video. Thank you so much. But she got some facts wrong. And so he's talking about like, I love my kids. We get along great. I didn't leave. I was supporting from afar, from down the street. And then she's like, no, he like actually left, like
Like in a different state.
Yeah.
Left.
Like, and none of, I don't know what he's talking about. He gets along. None of us talk to him. We have like no contact with him. And then, but meanwhile, at the end of the video, the funniest thing about it to me is that he's
He
like,
fucking yes.
So
This
let
is
me
my
answer
favorite part. He
this
fucking
question.
plugs his breakdancing.
Yeah.
Grandpa moved into a senior's home, met another woman,
The Bitcoin
and brought her
shirt.
as a date to the funeral. Here's someone who says, a video of my dad was featured in an episode of
Okay, no, this is him reading more stuff. I have to find where it's right here. He so he tells this like story where he's like defending himself. Oh, come on, come play.
For leaving his family.
Also,
He's
he
like, I
has-
gave your mom $4 million.
Yeah, and he has all this Bitcoin stuff that he's always talking about his millions of. God, something broke. Hang on, let me figure it out. Let me hit refresh. See if that helps us out.
to do some
But after telling this like weird story and like being strangely upbeat about it, he's like, I know what your real question is. Can he still breakdance?
I'm now age 66. Now, some of you might be wondering, can he still breakdance at age 66? Well, I don't know. Let's see. I'll give it a try.
He has like
Okay,
the
man,
weirdest
let's see how the old
performer
man-
tone.
That. He sounds like an AI.
Yeah, a little. Does breakdancing still look cool if there's no music? Sure doesn't.
Sure doesn't. I mean, his especially not. He definitely moves like he's 65, you know?
I mean, I can't do any of this in fairness.
I can't do that either. But
Yeah.
it's like, this would be cool if you didn't leave your family and then make a video in Bitcoin merch like poning your daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It's
know,
like
if you were
fucking-
just a 65-year-old breakdancer, that would be cool, but that's not the story.
And so look, I will say I can do better ground spins than him if you lay me on my stomach and somebody just sort of starts spinning me because of the aforementioned being fat. But other than that, I can't do any of this.
Neither can I. I can't even do a handstand if I'm being honest.
I used to breakdance a little,
like
but
Never
I'm
too
doing it
late
now.
to start breakdancing. I started when I was age 54. I'm now age 66. So there's really
It's one of those things where it's like, have you ever had somebody who has a controversy on the internet and they're like, all right, I'm finally going to respond to it. I'm going to do a response. And they're like, and so let's say that the thing that they did was like there was a video of them like, just being abusive to wait staff at a restaurant. And people were like attacking them for it. And they're like, all right, I just want to say, like, first of all, I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of controversy here. I did not know that that brand of shirt that I was wearing was associated with the Nazis. And they're like apologizing for the wrong thing, where they're like, are you not aware of why people are pissed off at you or why people think you're a sack of shit? And he has such that energy where he's like, and I'm sure. And so I'm just going to say it. And then I'm going to have this weird tone as I talk. And that's going to be the thing. Welcome to my...
And I bet
it's
you're
never
wondering.
too late. Yeah. Some of you might
It's never
be
too
wondering.
late to breakdance.
Reminds me of that like meme of that weird kid who would be like, some of you may not know this, but I can say the entire alphabet in only 1 second. Do you remember that viral video from
Yeah,
forever
I
ago?
do
It was like
remember
going
that.
all over. Yeah. And it was almost like a meta. The kid's either brilliant or annoying, but I actually think it's probably brilliant. I think he's literally going like, I'm just going to make the most confusing fucking one. And then he goes, but just to start with, some of you may not know this. And it's literally like, I don't know who you are. Of course I don't know. Who the fuck are you? You might not know
It's a
this.
great
And
way
he
to
goes,
set it up.
and it's like, don't believe me? Slow it down. And you slow it down. He goes, it's like, yeah, I fell for it. I slowed it down. Because it wasn't that I believed him. It was that if I was going to complain about it and somebody challenged
to
me,
know.
like, well, what happened when you slow it down? I was like, well, I already know it's what it's going to be, but yeah, I got to slow it down. Like,
That's great. I fucking love that.
Some of you may
Bitcoin
not know
Dad
this.
and Toxic Gossip Train have the same sort of vibe to them. The Toxic Gossip Train
I don't know what that is.
chugging down the track. Are you an internet person,
No,
Jimothy?
no. Did you not know this? I
Miranda
seriously don't
sings.
consume like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, other than like woodworking channels and like animal, taking care of animal channels.
I get to expose you to the worst fucking thing of 2023. That's not true. That's not true. The worst thing in terms of influencers in 2023. Miranda sings.
Oh, I know
Her
that story.
brothers-
Yeah, I know that story about the I'm not a pedophile. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a.
But okay, so have you seen the video then?
No,
the
I just am
toxic
aware of the
gossip
thing. I'm sure I
train.
saw people talking about it. Yeah.
Do you want to see it, or you're like,
No,
I'm
I
good with
really
the
don't, because
information
that
I
shit
have?
all makes me
Okay.
sad. I'm like, all of this is terrible. Because like I don't know, it's all, there's no side of it that's, my problem is like, there are terrible toxic people, which I assume, was she actually a pedophile? Was that the deal? Was she a?
Her brother, and then she was just really inappropriate with her fans, talking about periods and boobs and like weird stuff.
Okay. So a weirdo, basically. Yeah. But
Yeah, super weird.
The thing that like depresses me about it is you get people who are like weirdo doing wrong things, like definitely should be wrong. But there's this like level on the internet of like, if you did something wrong, all levels of consequences are acceptable. And people will even defend it. They'll be like, you're mad we doxed you and killed your dog? Oh, I guess you just think you don't deserve consequences. As they're like, and they're like, but they're saying it like with the dog as a little hand puppet because they killed the dog. anyway, it makes me sad that we only talk about the toxicity on one side of it. And I'm literally sitting here going like, with a lot of stuff. I'm not saying I don't know this story, so I'm not saying it necessarily applies
this
to
story,
this one.
she's definitely
Like,
bad.
fucked up. Yeah,
and
but
I mean, you know how I am. Yeah, no, she's bad.
There's so many stories of it where it's like, you guys recognize that mob justice is considered one of like the evils of the world, but you're like, well, it's acceptable when it's a consequence. It's like, it's literally never acceptable. Like the right ways. You never see these people that are like coming through and they're like, you're a piece of shit. We're going to force you to get into therapy. It's always like, you're a piece of shit. We're going to do a deep dive to find out everywhere you even try to get employed for the next 3 years and go, we don't think that we're surprised you would allow this person to represent your company at the Home Depot or whatever it is. There's just so much to it where it's like everything that's awful on the internet, where there's such an industry around covering the drama of people's lives. And I admit, like, some of it sounds stupid coming from me because that sort of shit has come from me. So in some ways I probably just sound like, oh, I got canceled at one point. So I'm so hurt about it. Okay. Cancel culture's the worst, guys. But it is stuff that like just you think about and it just makes you fucking sad. Because you do know when they come for you, you do know what stuff you legitimately did and didn't do. Like for you, whether you convince other people of it is one thing, but for you, you're like, I do know this is a lie. I know this is a lie. I know this is a lie, whether you can share it with anybody else. And so it's just like when any other story comes up where it's like, so-and-so said such and such, or here's the DMs between so-and-so and so, and I'm kind of repulsed by that kind of content because regardless of if people did gross, horrible things, I don't think it's healthy. I've been going on so long about this. Here's where even the Colleen whatever story, Colleen Ballinger, was that her name?
Ballinger.
Yeah. Here's where I go like, okay, she's obviously terrible, but there's clearly also an unhealthy, toxic thing on the other side of this. And that's, why am I aware of it having never watched it? And the answer is, because there was like 100 videos about it. So it was on my news feed constantly. Everywhere. And it's literally like, how many people do you need to hear repeat it to get the information and know this person's toxic and whatever else? But you get these people who like are like, oh my God, H3H3 just talked about it. Now I want to go listen to Hassan talk about it. And then I want to go listen to Vosh talk about it. And then I want to go listen to, and these aren't even all drama channels that I'm saying. I'm just going with names of popular channels. And now just I need to go test it.
Commentary people.
Right. Even people that I hate, like, you know, usually I hate, what is that asshole bearded guy? The drama alert guy?
Oh, that fucking Keemstar?
Keemstar, yeah. I hate Keemstar now. I talk shit about Keemstar, but he's covering it, so I'm going to go cover it. That's the shit where I'm like, we don't have a good system in place to have non-toxic audiences, even when you have actually toxic people who something needs to happen to. And it's just sad. It's seriously like, it's the bane of my existence. It's what the last couple of years have had me so fucking depressed, where you're like, balls to the wall. You want the world to get better, but it won't, because more people are interested in watching why it's not getting better, watching the evil. Like, they are too truly, if we were in a utopian world, most people who are like content consumers would be miserable because they get up and they're like, what's the outrage of the day?
What's the tea?
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Makes me so sad. And I realized at one point that
I've definitely fallen into it.
I was a part. I think I was a T channel. Like, how many Girl Defined videos?
A little.
I was, yeah. How many Girl Defined videos? I know. It's probably why we became friends. It's a complicated thing because I'm like, none of the stuff in the Girl Defined videos I did do I like take back. There's maybe a couple of things, like maybe too speculative. And then there was the time where I like heard the rumor about Davey having gone to, and I just repeated it. And I apologized for it. But
the conversion thing.
Yeah, the conversion therapy thing. Yeah. But like, how many videos? Why was it that I could do 6 a week, or it was more like 2 a week, and those would all get like tons of views for essentially the same content, to the point that I had done like, I don't know, 50 to 100 videos, if you include all the book reviews and stuff, that are quintessentially the same thing. And then like reading through comments, but more importantly, talking to actual women who I respect and are like very brilliant people who have a sort of larger intersectional knowledge where they understand, because you don't think about things like, yes, women who do this are bad, but are you making an audience? Are you appealing to an audience who hate that ideology they're presenting? Or are you presenting an audience who are looking for a substitute woman to hate because we grow up in a patriarchal society that teaches women to hate other women and be in competition with other women? And so when women deconstruct, it can be hard to recover from that and actually try to be like rooting for other women and sisterhood and all of that. And so more often they compartmentalize or they redistribute that anger. It was like having a revelation as this person was talking, like, what is your content? Is it deconstruction content of like, people, let's talk about this. This is tough. They're victims, which I would bring that up. Like, I feel bad for them too, but like, or was it tea content where it was like, hey, let's still do things that are toxic, but feel completely fine about it because they deserve it. And it's just like,
Yeah, I get that.
That shit's not healthy.
I get that. Just like not contributing to the overall negativity. I've definitely fallen into that. I feel like with Colleen Ballinger, I also remembered one thing. She like sent Trisha Paytas's OnlyFans to some underage fans of hers in like a Discord or something.
That's
which
horrific.
Is really weird and gross. It's terrible. So I think
again, I don't want to sound like I'm defending any of that or her, because I know I only know the tidbits from literally like thumbnails and or YouTube shorts that like for the 4 seconds before I decided to swipe to the next one.
No, I know. I think it like the absurdity with that situation is the fact that these are such intense like allegations against her and her brother, and then she comes on screen with a ukulele and makes a 10-minute song about cancel culture bad, the toxic gossip train, like, and just acting through the whole thing, and then like stops and is like, actually, I have more to say. And it's just this fucking ridiculous spectacle.
Don't diddle kids, and I've gotta be big. The Frank song when Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is like, we gotta write a song about how we don't diddle kids. And don't diddle kids, gotta be big, older than my daughter, older than my wife. That was from Always Sunny.
Essentially.
Yeah.
No.
It's shitty because there are legitimate conversations we should be talking about, like a toxic gossip train or whatever term you want to use about cancel culture is this sort of antiquated term now where it's like, if you just use the phrase cancel culture, people are going to assume your political alignment incorrectly. But we are talking about the same thing where people are so tribalistic that they're going to absolutely try to eviscerate. And it's more about whether they like you versus what you did. And therefore everything you do or say is the worst version of anything you do or say. And people who even used to love you that were like, wow, you're my favorite creator, the best. Suddenly they realize everything you've ever made is horrible. And they never liked any of it. There's like a lot of legitimate stuff
always a piece of shit.
It's fucking crazy. Cause it's like the kind of stuff people come at me for is all like, I am legitimately garbage, but you keep getting the wrong things. I could cancel myself so easily. But you keep going after these
everyone could
stupid fucking things. Yeah. And that's
this really book.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What?
No, you.
I was saying that this one's so stupid is people are like, there's stuff to legitimately cancel people for, but also canceling isn't a thing. Not really. What it means is like, we're having a mob reaction to something negatively. That's what that means. But it's funny because the people that are going into the most outrage a lot of the time are like just your run-of-the-mill white people. And I'm like, I guarantee some of the shit you said in middle school would have your ass fired from your job and you'd never be able to get hired anywhere else ever again. But that's just not on the internet. So you're saved from that. But it's like the fact that there's no archival evidence of the shit that they've said or done in the past, they act like they haven't done it. And so they're exempt from any kind of criticism. And so then they feel valid in being critical of these other people. And like with the Colleen Ballinger situation, most people have never done anything that she or her brother did. And so it's like, yeah, criticize that shit. But I do think we're really, really quick to not only like cancel people, but like willfully misunderstand people. Cause I think it makes us feel like morally superior in some way.
The feeling morally superior to people, especially who are perceived as authorities that you maybe dislike or whatever, is such a huge driver. I don't think I agree with the phrase that the cancellation isn't a real thing. Cause I've seen people who aren't creators who have gotten canceled, where it's literally like, you're going after like this random person on Instagram because they made
like
a comment that was shitty. Yeah, like you're calling their job, you're calling their friends, you're fucking trying to connect to like and yes, on the creator, at the larger creator end, you know, when I get emails of like, hey, we're getting weird messages from like a sponsor or something. We're getting weird messages. What is this? And luckily I didn't have any problems. I was able to be like, yeah, there's some fucking crazy shit happening right now. It's just this like, it's this funny, and it's also this like sort of unfair position too, where you're like, there are things. So for example, when people were shitty to me, and again, I don't want to be the guy who's like, cancellation exists because I got canceled. I bet, you know, there were problems arose.
Yeah.
And then, I still exist. I got through it. I have this other network that's going great and strong. It actually gave me a chance to re-examine my priorities, re-examine like what I care about, what the mission is, really understand that I don't enjoy being a public figure, but see a place that I've feel like I can contribute well to. 2, if I left, there would be an absence of something that I think should still be there. And 3, I need to still pay my bills, and I basically locked myself into this career, and it's not going to be easy to transition to something else. Like I'm a little locked in, but like there is this hard part where there was this weird thing that happened when everything, when these people who weren't people who, you know, they were new names and new people, and it was hard because of other stuff that was going on in my life. But it's literally like, I don't want to talk about those other things that were going on in my life, these personal life things that were going on. But other people who I do see share those types of stories for when maybe they weren't making the best choices. People are like, oh shit, that was happening. Like but that's my personal life. I'm not trying to publicly share. I don't want to share medical stuff. I don't want to share relationship stuff. I don't want to share any of that shit. It's my own shit. It's like and so you get these like fucking, these tough things where I didn't lose a single person or a single friend who came to me and asked me about it. Because every single thing where it was like, hey, people are saying you like fucking, I mean, literally there were people who were saying I was complicit in like murders and shit. Like that level, that was the craziest end where it was like conspiracies of like, he's a murderer because this one person said he wasn't. It was weird. Some people deciding I was transphobic when it's literally like, I don't know that there is a more loud trans. I literally have a show dedicated on one of my networks to trans issues, only hosted by trans people, but produced and financially supported and structured by my company because I care about the issue. But anyway, there's all this like hard shit going on, and not a single friend who came to me and actually asked about it did I lose, because I could show that everything that was happening was bullshit. But it doesn't mean I'm willing to show the public all of my personal life to prove those things.
No, and like, you shouldn't have to.
Right. Because these people were speculating about my medical life, my personal relationships, and all kinds of shit. And it was literally like, I'm not going to open that shit up to people. It's not fucking fair to me. And even people who were hurting me and attempting to hurt me, again, no one who actually came to me and heard me out or whatever, who had known me in the past. Like there's like people where it's like, oh, that person attacked me. I could super fuck their life up just by showing DMs between me and them. But I'm not going to, because I don't feel that it is appropriate and right to pull. There's just this toxic element. I want to get off the topic of me and the problems I have, because again, it sounds so fucking stupid and like, I got canceled, guys. Do you want to hear about it for the 50th time? I couldn't let it go for the longest fucking time. And I guess I never will. It's like a canon event for me. But it's still tough, you know, it's still like a fucking thing. And you still are informed of what's happening around you by your own thing that happens to you. And so you'll see other people going through it and you'll be like, hey man, you know, so-and-so creator, like that thing you did, like this thing that there is documentation of, that sucks. That looks bad, but you're not fucking irredeemable. I don't think you should die. Meanwhile, you get these mobs of people who are like, they're going after your friends, trying to get your friends to not be friends with you anymore. They're going after your job, trying to take away all of your sources of income. Therefore, like where you live, how you transport. They find out you get a new job. They go for that job. They try to take your family. They try to like literally every association with you that keeps you alive. What is the difference between, this is why I don't like mob justice, because even people who seem to deserve it if that's the actions mob justice is responding to, it seems to me the only option left, if they succeed in all of it, is for the person to end their life. Like, you've literally taken my friends.
It does feel like that.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit where it's like, we're going to take everything from you and then you should just die. Like, people, I've never had like quite the same type of, what would you say, controversies that you've had, but I've definitely had my own share of controversies, and they've all been really, really fucking weird and just incredibly unfounded. And I found that most of the time, the best response for me in those situations has been to literally say nothing or just take it as not seriously as possible. But like, I've had people, because I make, for everyone who doesn't know, I make audio erotica on Quinn, but I have had them people reach out to Quinn and be like, hey, she's saying this stuff. And they're like, we know, we follow her, we like her. But they're trying to like take away my source of income. They're reaching out to my dad. People were sending some of my stuff to my dad and being like, did you know that your daughter's a filthy fucking whore? And like, all of this stuff. And then, you know, my dad doesn't need to see that. My dad knows who I am, my family, my friends, everybody sees me and knows me. But it's just wild the way people will frame things and be like, hey, did you know your daughter's an irredeemable slut? Like, why are you doing that? What is the purpose of that?
It's crazy too, because like, we're now having this talk and we're doing it on air. So, you know, part of it's, for me, it's, you know, me talking about that stuff. This is my fault. I just chose to do all of that. And now I'm going to sit and complain about the consequences of potentially doing that. But, you know, it's funny because it's like, I'm going to have this moment of vulnerability. I'm going to open up. I'm going to whatever and whatever. And there will be people, again, because it's about what's entertaining. It's exciting and it's sexy and it gets the blood flowing and the nipples hard. And there are people who I know who like watch every single thing I do, waiting for me to slip in some way that they can uncharitably like reword and change. And this is, or try and remove context from, or selective down. And it's like, those people are going to like, you know, it won't surprise me if this section of this show ends up in somebody's response video, because they don't have, and in a lot of ways, it's funny how like what used to be resentment and anger has turned into like pity and even sadness for a lot of these people, because this is what they have. It's like, this is what stimulates them. This is what they get their serotonin rushes from. And you're like, in a way, of course I'm mad at you because like things come at me, but you and a lot of people are sick with this obsession. So again, it sounds like from what you're telling me, and I trust you as a person of character, people's character, it sounds like Colleen does deserve, like, it sounds like some of the stuff she's deserved legal consequences for, like on top of
she does
everything else. But then it's like, how is 100 videos from entertaining T channels the way to get it? Right? It sounds to me like, did she double down, or did she ever like go, hey, I'm going to get in therapy because I'm fucked up? She doubled down,
She
right?
doubled the hell down.
Yeah. That's literally, the other way doesn't work. And so you get these people and then you try to like have conversations about them. Like, hey, do you know what happened during like apartheid? And you like try to have these conversations that you're like informed on philosophy and stuff. And they're like, oh, now you're going to quote Nelson Mandela, oh, white savior, where they literally just try to turn anything you do into something horrible, where you're like, I don't know. I've kind of always,
once people hate you, everything's an excuse to hate you.
Yeah. But then maybe I, you know, I deserve some percentage of people to hate me. Like, and at the same time, I'm on the internet. I've had some amount of, so whether things are true or not, whether they're deserved or not, it's unfortunately just something to expect. So at a certain point, it's like, am I just going to let it paralyze me, depress me? And I did for a long time. I seriously, like, again, there was actually other elements that were happening in my personal life, my real life, having to do with lots of things that are personal to me. Again, I keep my medical stuff out of the limelight. I keep personal stuff. I don't talk much about my, you know, you and I have been friends for years now, but this will be the first anybody really knows of that, because it's not just something I bring up that often, who my friends are and what we're doing and stuff. And so there's all this like, there was all this like super darkness, like, and yet here I've done what I also find stupid. I've participated in what is stupid, which is ultimately just dedicated 20 to 30 minutes. So cancel culture. Oh, feel sorry for you guys. It was really hard. Oh, who's gonna make it right? Oh, unite everybody. All my fans, go beat up my other fans. And it's funny. I got to a different place where now it's like, sometimes things will still stress me out. You don't know what people are going to say. You don't know who's going to say, which again, it's nobody who actually came to me and heard me out one-on-one, someone who I could actually feel like I could share more personal stuff with. I didn't lose a single friend. But it's funny how it's now, it's like, I'll get screenshots. There's a couple of people who still keep an eye on things for me, which is probably because it kind of, I don't know, they feel protective of me. Maybe they also like tea stuff. But they'll kind of keep an eye. They're in these groups and people don't know. And if something particularly outrageous comes up, they'll send me a screenshot. And it used to be they send me it like, hey, do you feel like you need to know that this is there because you might have to defend yourself? And that's like what I think the original motivation was. But now it's literally like as a chuckle, as a joke, where it's like, look how far off these people are from who you know you are. Look how far away they are. Look how much they're misrepresenting or flat out lying, because it's a whole thing. And so now at this point, it used to be like if it's shitty when you date, because you're like, they're gonna Google me, they're gonna fucking Google me, and they're gonna find these people who just fucking hate me, who just have a deep and who knows what's gonna happen. And so it used to bring me a lot of fear, and now it's like, hey, I saw something. What is that? And I'm like, honestly, watch it or read it or go read them all, go watch it all. If honestly you go and you watch that stuff and you can't see the problems with the way they're presenting things and stuff, then I don't know that you're like, at some point, this is all going to go to hell because you suck at parsing through bullshit. But realistically, it's like anybody who's come to me and I've been like, go read it all, go watch it all that you feel like. And if anything actually sticks out that you want to know about all, and no one comes back is like, yeah, one person said you did such and such. They're like, yeah, so I watched one video and realized these people are fucking nuts. Like, they are. And and so perceptions have changed. Like I said, who knows? Maybe this stupid little conversation where I'm probably trying to do my I'm trying to do my last, merge out and finally like sweat out that poison. Even as I've been trying to like not let it seep into my content as much. It's funny because I actually saw in somebody else's there was a subreddit dedicated to a creator who had a lot of problems. And someone sent me a screenshot of, hey, somebody brought you up in the comments of this person. And I was like, oh my God, I barely know them. What did they accuse me of? I've like talked to this person twice ever. And they were like, no. They were saying like they were asking what you were up to because they remember you had some kind of controversy, but they liked your content and wondered if you were making stuff again. And then the response to that person was like, he makes stuff every now and then, but he always brings up that the internet was mean to him. And so he's like, it was like, I'll be watching his thing and I'll be there to be like, yeah, I'm actually interested in this topic. And then at some point he complains about, believe me, and it was funny because I was so defensive at that comment at first where I was like, that was a canon event for me. That was a big deal. That destroyed my fucking mental health. I ended up in a little, it got leaked, unfortunately. I ended up in a little facility, a little time having to, be taken care of a little bit. Like there's this big canon event. And then like the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, that's totally correct, though. That's like, so shut up.
You're like, I'd be doing that.
Right. Like, you're still living your life. You're still alive. Yeah, these people hurt you, but they've pretty much given up. Like, they pretty much I don't know if they've realized anything or if they just got bored, but just fucking. And so now I'm just at this place where I'm like, the thing I want to do is help people deconstruct. And we've just launched an amazing show on the channel called Chewed Gum. And it's a show hosted by women for women. We pay all our hosts because people, there are conspiracies about that. I'm like hiring all these people to talk about these intersectional avenues, and then I'm just taking all the cash. I wish. I fucking wish. I wish Dillahunty would do his show and let me have all the money. I'm paying him a lot. We do everything on profit share, and so it's basically production gets this half. Now we actually have producers too, so I don't even get to take the production money. And it's not halves, but gets this percentage. Hosts get this percentage. There's a point system for our other points of revenue. But anyway, so we have, and that's it now. I'm just like, I have the things I want to say about the election, so just come say the things about the election. Yes, sometimes I have things I want to say about society and how I wish it would heal. And sometimes I'll do the stupid thing and rant for now 30 minutes about I got canceled, guys. Doesn't everybody feel bad for me? It's so dumb, and yet it was a cathartic experience to release. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's all about to blow back up, and they're like, "Did you hear what he said? It is." It's all over.
Whatever. People can kick rocks.
Nah, that would require them to go outside. They don't do that.
No, they don't. No, they don't. There was this funny moment. I love some trash TV. So I was watching Love is Blind, and like this one girl was pissed that her fiance was out really late talking to a girl that he dated in the pods when they like couldn't see each other, whatever. And so her like final thing as she's walking away, she's like, "Go kick rocks with sandals on." And just like away. And I was like, wow, she got him. But anyway, to your haters and whatnot, same. Go kick rocks with sandals on.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I just don't even have the same resentment for them anymore that I used to. Like, there's one or two where I'm like, I would go out of my way to not be within 100 feet of you if I knew you were around because you're just such an unpleasant person. But the people at large, the crowds at large, it's literally like what am I expecting of people who it's literally like, I'm not a real human to any of them. And that's like how we all, to some degree, it's how everybody perceives people that they see on screen that they haven't met in person. There's like this element of, it's a magic, not real person. And I don't know, it's just not. And granted, you can break out, you can have a parasocial relationship and then meet a person. And at the moment you've met a person, it's not parasocial anymore. Doesn't mean it's healthy. But the moment you actually have contact, doesn't mean you have a healthy relationship. And you might still have some like parasocial delusions. So, but I don't know. If you meet the actor,
absolutely.
You meet the actor who plays Superman and then expect him to fly away. You haven't totally broken out. I don't know. It's weird shit. That's a dumb example.
They meet Henry Cavill, expect him to actually be the Witcher.
He's so hot.
That would be me.
Yeah.
He's so hot.
It's not that I don't know that you're not the Witcher. It's that I have no interest in you behaving otherwise.
If you're not Geralt when we meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like Hollywood, not to completely pivot, Hollywood has not been kind to him in what he's been cast in. I'm like, what are you doing to my boy?
I know.
Put him in something decent, please. Like he couldn't, The Witcher
I thought he was
so
great
good
as
if it wasn't on
Superman.
Netflix.
That could be.
He was.
Yeah.
But I
liked
just
Batman
wish
vs.
The Witcher
Superman.
was on HBO. I didn't see that one.
It's a hot take. Everybody tells me I'm wrong about it.
I
What do you
had a
think?
feeling I would hate it.
Should we hit the super chats and maybe call it a little night ski here?
Yeah, let's call it a night ski with the super chats.
The night ski. All right, send in your super chats now. Remember the super chat question of the day if you want to get it in before, because I don't think a single person answered it. So send a super chat of $5 or more. I do have super chats to read. I just don't know if anybody actually. Oh, I think one guy did. A guy who I just think is cool, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the super chat question of the day: will America ever abandon capitalism? What will it take to leave it behind? We'll take a look at responses, and then we are going to call it a night. By the way, to those of you, this whole membership gifting thing, didn't even know it was a thing, but thank you. Y'all are cool. Whatever you're doing with the membership gifting. I got to start doing things for members because I don't do shit for members. So I gotta, at least you can bypass slow mode. Starting with $5 from Tabathug, who says, "Hi, Jimmy." Well, hi, Tabathug. How are you? And then Dade says, "Sorry it took me so long to do you on my channel, but that's been taken care of. I will be taking a look at that tonight, Dade." Dade does. It was funny because so low key, until the other day when I saw you on my channel, I assumed that you, like many people on the line, disliked me but like Matt, because Dade does the thing where he remixes clips from the line, and he there's something about, like, I don't know whether it's a video filter, but he like reduces the frame rate or something and then increases this sort of color toning thing that happens. So it's also very striking looking, but then he also has a super emotive face. So he lip syncs like significant quotes and moments from the line. And it's awesome. But I'd seen him do Matt. I'd seen him do Shannon. I think he maybe had done a couple others. And so I just complained the other day. I was like, my birthday's coming up. Would you do one with me in it? And so I'll have to go look now and see if see what Dade did. Because apparently I have been done now.
That's great.
Yeah.
You've been done.
I've been done. Oh, thank you, Dade. Dade says he loves me. I have a tendency to assume everybody hates me. So
why?
There's that. Even people who like love me. I'm not even kidding.
I love you, and you're like, I'm assuming you didn't respond, and I'm trying not to assume that you hate me. And I'm like, I love you, Jimmy.
Did I write that recently?
I impress? You did, and it's like, how do I impress upon you my love for you?
I think for the record, the way you put it, I don't think is how I would say my words and tone were. It would be more like, hey, I'm trying to not be annoying by sending too many messages before you've responded. But I'm hoping it's okay to I very much am.
It's always okay.
Cautious to, I don't know. Yeah, but for real, I unfortunately suffer from like social paranoia, especially as part of one of my problems. And so like I have this element where I'll just be thinking about literally I think earlier today I was like, man, I'm so excited. I hope that I don't call you Cera, as you know, but I'm not going to share with everybody else because I feel it's special between us. So I'm still going to just call you Cera. So I'm going to pretend I said Cera. Earlier, I was just sitting down and I was like, I hope that Cera has so much fun that she wants to do it a lot. Oh, did you just somehow make hearts happen?
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen, but it did. Look at that.
What is doing that?
I don't know. What if I do thumbs up? Sorry, I don't want to distract, but.
Is your phone your camera?
No.
This is from the Elgato camera?
Yeah, how is this happening?
I didn't know this was a thing. Because it doesn't do it on my end. Look.
What?
Oh my God, you froze.
No. Help.
None of these things work for me. You might have to refresh. You might have broken it.
God damn it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But the look on your face is priceless.
Wait, how do I refresh?
Like, refresh your browser. The browser that this call is in.
Oh. All right, let's see.
Let's see. Are you back? Aha, yay. Excellent.
That was so silly. All right, I'm never doing that again.
No, but it's I didn't even know it was a possibility. That was wild. But yeah, earlier, so I was thinking and I was like, I hope Cera has so much fun that she's like, I will do that as often as my schedule allows because I loved it so much. And of course, if we start to get some viewership and make some serious money, just like everywhere else, it wouldn't be just come do this for free. Give me your laborious time. Yeah. I think I already told you and Dom that. I'm like, you are the two that I would love to have so much back that I feel compelled to pay you. But I was like, I hope Cera feels that way until inevitably one day she doesn't care if I'm alive or dead. It was like that framing where it was like, as long as she still loves me and hasn't grown bored of me, because it's weird. I have so many friends. I don't have like a ton of people who I knew in the past who resent me now, but I have lots who it's like, I think I've somewhat autistically overstayed my social welcome and didn't realize until years later. And so I think I've exhausted a lot of people. So it's like now they're like, if it's like every once a year, just being like, hey, how you been? They're like, oh, once a year is fine, Jimmy. I've been great. But then if like that next week, I'm like, hey, do you want to get like coffee or something? They're like, I'm busy for the next 12 years. Like I'm friends with most of my exes too. But it's like, I'm only tight with a few people, like friends from high school. Dom's really my last one left. Everybody else, it's kind of like, my old roommate rarely ever messages me back, and we were super close. So I don't know. I get paranoid. I get paranoid about things.
Don't be paranoid. I love you. I get that shit though. I feel like my friends, I like randomly text them. I'll get into like a mood. It'll be 1 a.m. I've been working. I'm feeling grateful. And so I text my friends and I'm like, I fucking love you. Aww. And they're like, oh my God, I miss you. And then we'll make plans and we're like, we're going to hang out every week. And then I inevitably become incredibly busy and distracted. And so I think my friends were really stoked when I hit them up. And I feel really, I'm like constantly carrying this guilt of I haven't texted my friends in so long. But I don't want you to ever assume that, at least with me, Jimmy, if I'm ever have an issue with you, you will absolutely know.
Don't entertain my sickness. That's what you're doing right now. You don't need to reassure me of shit. But it is funny how like then also when I'm trying to word my like, hey, I'm trying to get some affirmation here, but I don't want you to know I'm doing that. But I also don't want to be manipulative. So I want to be straightforward and say, I want you to know that I'm being irrational right now, but I don't want you to feel pressured by that irrationality either, because it's like these huge levels of, I want to communicate something that I feel I need right now without being needy. And that's like the hardest balance to make, where you're like, it's so funny where it's like, don't be needy, even when you need something. Like,
even when you need something.
You're like dying.
How dare you need?
You're like dying of thirst, and you're just like, you have an empty mug and you bring it to a person who dispenses water, and you're just like, if it wouldn't be horribly inconvenient, or like if you need to do something, like for real, if you've got to be somewhere else right now, I don't want to bother you, but if it's not inconvenient, and for real, you can even just say, fuck off. Fuck off. But if it's like, I'm like 20 minutes of preamble and I die because I preambled too long to get my water.
If I'm the water person, while you're saying that, I'm like pouring into it, getting another one.
You're like spraying me with
Shut
a
up.
hose.
Shut up.
You're like, you're making me want you to die of thirst. You gotta stop.
What if I drown you? Actually.
Oh man. All right, let's there's only a few of these. If you love this show and you have look, nobody should be spending their last $5 on anything, but if you are a person who's like, I like to contribute a little bit to the channels here and there, you want to throw a super chat our way, let us know, because this channel. Also, maybe share this episode out. That's helpful. And tell people they can just skip the 30-minute whine fest of people were mean to me on the internet. Who's ever heard of such a thing?
When you post it, like create a timestamp of that. Well, it's because
I feel like I'm playing it up because it's making you laugh. I'm like, oh, she likes this. I'm gonna lean in. That's part of my sickness too, just a compulsion to always keep making people laugh. They won't realize they hate me if they're laughing. It's an illness. $10 more from Dave Murphy. We'd sooner elect a black lesbian atheist as president before America would divorce itself from capitalism. Yeah, I think you're right. The problem is we have to at some point. Like, capitalism is running out of sustainability, especially with this whole AI thing. Yeah. So it's like,
how exciting.
Would the powers that be rather, let's say we can tell 5 years from now, which, by the way, economists say it's 2040, so it's literally 16 years from now. But let's say we see the economic collapse coming. Would the powers that be go, well, I'm rich, so I'd rather continue to be rich for 3 more years than fix it now and everybody have what they need? And I'm somewhat cynical like you. Rich people will hold on to the feeling of being rich as long as they can. As though they won't still have huge advantages, even if we switch to socialism. Because unfortunately, I've heard we're not literally going to eat the rich. I bought so much barbecue sauce.
I mean, would you eat human if it was ethically sourced somehow?
No. Well, first of all, there's a specific disease you can get from eating human.
It's like a neurotoxin or whatever.
But it's also like there are certain things that you are mentally wired that if you don't have. So like, obviously there's lots of obvious things where it's like, you have mental wires that make certain foods appealing in others, but you have other things that are also hardwired. Like the way if you are raised with a person, it's not a cultural thing. It's at least it doesn't seem to be just a cultural thing because of how many societies it arose in. You tend to not want to fuck the kids that you are raised with. So it's why there's a natural
very true.
non-desire to fuck your siblings. But some people aren't born with that. And we usually recognize that as a psychological deficiency, usually indicative of some greater deficiency in the brain. Same thing with like psychopathy. Like you are actually lacking the things that are hardwired, like empathy. And I am fully, my brain, the part of my brain that I'm hardwired with to not want to eat human is still present. Yeah.
That's probably for the best.
These parts of our brains are very interesting. If I'm remembering right, it's also the parts of our brain that allow us to make sort of exceptions and social contracts with different animals. So the fact that we can see like a dog, which we cherish for companionship, we have this sort of social contract with because we forced dogs to exist. We literally created them out of wolves. That sort of that part of our brain that can be culturally influenced, but hardwires to a point where you're like, of course I'm repulsed by the idea of eating a dog, even as you eat like a bacon sandwich from a pig that was 5 times as smart as the smartest dog.
Yeah.
Pork's tough. I try to not eat pork, and I'm trying to go totally mammal free, but I keep breaking into when I'm bad, when I don't eat mammal free, I end up eating. You can't do that. But I end up eating a little bit of beef, which doesn't feel good. I used to say cows are dumb enough to deserve it, but
no, they're not.
They are dumb, but they're emotional, and I don't love. And so that's where it's like now I've had so much exposure to cows who genuinely love humans, where it's like, fuck, god damn it, so delicious.
I've lived by cows for 3 years, and every time they get butchered, very publicly, might I add, I'm genuinely heartbroken because I get to know them so intimately. They have their own personalities, and I'm like, ugh, it's harder to eat beef now. It's so much harder.
It is tough. Yeah. I'm probably slow marching toward veganism one day, but maybe not all the way. Because I will say, while I came around on cows, chickens do deserve it. They fucking no, but chickens have basically lizard brains, and I just don't. Mammals are unique, and so I just don't feel the same about birds. And
no,
if
the
reptiles
fact that
tasted
chickens
good,
can operate. Oh yeah, no reptiles. Well, alligators look kind of okay tasting.
Ugh. It was very chewy. Tried alligator.
Bristly. It's somewhat, but it like taste wise, it's okay. But chickens can operate more or less exactly the same with their head cut off, and that's like really all I needed to know.
Right, that's
not to say that I think they should be treated poorly, but
yeah, there is so much instinctual. Yeah, there's also like it's funny because it's like. Now, environmental impact, there's at least an argument. Chickens are way better for the environment than beef, though, by a lot. And in fact, you could do most of the work that vegans claim you could do by everybody going vegan by also just getting everybody off mammals. And you would take a huge bite out of it. But neither one of them will actually solve climate change. But you would do a tremendous amount. But like chickens, there are insects like who are arguably smarter than chickens. And it's like chicken or insects, if there's no avoiding massacring insects. And so if you're the type of vegan who just doesn't think insect lives matter as much, granted, there's those vegans who are like, no, insect lives matter too, but it's unavoidable. So you should eat plant-based, because if you eat the plant-based diet instead of the chicken, eating the chicken will require you to have killed more bugs because the chicken will have consumed more plants to get you that amount of chicken. And technically, like, that's consistent. I'm not there.
No, I'm not. And I'm not on the bug level of eating bugs yet. Who's to say with the way that the world's going?
I guess this was more about valuing the intellectual level of the intellectual capacity and sentience of an insect versus a bird. That was more of what I was driving at. Yeah.
Well, that as well. If they're huge, like the big spiders where they have cute little eyes, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I see you. But no, just like your average run of the mill bug.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet either.
I just look, it's ableist to ask me to, because it is hardwired in an autistic man's brain to love chicky nuggies. And so stop being ableist and asking me to go vegan. It's funny because it's like the people who genuinely like engage on a not shitty level where they're just like, there's no difference between that and eating a dog, and you're a hypocrite and you may as well be a slave owner and a whatever. The ones that like want to throw names and guilt you out of it, that does nothing to me. I'm literally just like, keep commenting. It's good for the algorithm. But I've, some of my best friends are vegans. See, I have a diverse group of friends. Anyway, some of my best friends are vegan, and it's conversations with them. But then again, it's more exposure to animals that have changed my habits.
Thumbs up.
What's that?
I accidentally thumbs up.
We got to get to the bottom of what's doing that.
I know, that's so weird.
I feel we need to turn it off if we want to sometimes.
Yeah, we should be able to turn it off. I don't know how or why it's happening, so I have to figure that out.
Try carnivore diet. Boy, it's tempting. My qualms with meat isn't how delicious it is. Look, it's that part's that's the hardest part to leave behind. Here's my thing. I'm going to keep making slow, gradual changes in the hope that before I make the changes that I feel are unachievable, perfect lab-made meat is released. Like that's the hope. Like
I'm horrified by lab meat.
Why?
It scares me. It feels like it's the beginning of the end. I think I'd rather not eat meat than lab meat.
You don't think that magic baby in Jerusalem was the beginning of the end?
Probably the magic baby.
I just like, of all the things, we've survived world wars. We've survived pandemics. The humanity has come through. Making cells replicate in a machine is not like that crazy. We do versions of that on all kinds of ways. I don't know. That's not that crazy to me. It's it's a little unsettling, I guess, but it's not like
horribly so. I'm like, what will it look like structurally? And that's what's very important to me for whatever reason. I just imagine like a gelatinous blob.
Well, so I think there's going to be different versions at different price points. I think you're going to have kind of what you're talking about, like 3D printed meat, where the red cell, like you're literally printing like tubes of meat cells and fat cells, and probably will actually still be delicious because you'll be able to get like Kobe beef level balances of fat and there'll be no, tension in the muscle or anything. It'll probably be delicious still, but there'll probably be like cheap 3D printed. And then I imagine like at the highest end, you'll be able to buy like a cut of beef where they basically made a cow without a brain. It's like a clone of just the meat parts that you would want. And so it's like the leg will look like a leg because you're still going to be using regular cell genetics and replication, and like your leg grows into a shape not because your skin's like, okay, stop there. There's some hard wiring to like, okay, build this layer, the whatever, and then the final shape. Even if you didn't have skin, your container would be that shape. So I imagine that'll be cloning in the same way we're going to clone organs. You could clone specific muscles,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
fair enough. As long as it's not a gelatinous blob, I think I could do it.
But all those things are going to be unsettling. Imagine they cloned your heart, but like a perfect version, and they showed it to you. Like, this is literally your exact heart, and we're going to switch it out. Like, that would fucking be creepy as fuck. But you'd be like, thank you for saving my life, but I didn't need to see that shit.
No, that's insane. I also get so scared about like the world in which these things are possible. I'm like, poor people still ain't going to get that shit. Well, unfortunately.
Hopefully we're
that's
headed
a different conversation.
Hopefully that's a very short period, but you're right. Like we were talking about with the drugs earlier, the rich people are going to be like, how do I make it a luxury to just feel this way, to be able to have
gold leaf heart.
Solve consciousness, give us the ability to move it while maintaining life, and put me in a computer and I'm good. Let me go live out
in a computer.
Yeah, like a simulation of my own creation and control. Let me relive memories. Only memories starting at 18 years old, you fucking weirdos.
I just want to I could be a tree. I think that would be nice. Put me in a tree.
Let's make you a tree.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think we
maybe
have
a
different
treat.
aspirations for these simulations. Like,
I think we do.
I'll go back and like relive some of the glory days. Like because on the other side of it, every mushroom trip that worked out and every one that didn't. So you could go relive just the great ones. You could go
That's
relive.
very true. I think I wouldn't want to relive anything. I think I would want to be
Nothing?
having a completely different experience. No, I don't want to relive anything. I saw it. I was there. I would want to if there could be an afterlife, I would just absolutely love to see the universe from beginning to end, to just be an observer of that, and then I could blink out and I'd be totally fine with that.
But what if there's no such thing as beginning?
Well, then it would go on forever, and I would be happy with that as well. If I could just see all the shit going on and explore that and see all of human history and the creation of all the earth, not the creation, the evolving of all of the earth. Oh, that'd be so cool. Is the afterlife I seek.
I think you're trying to communicate that you just want like the query computer where you die and then you get to have the answer to any question. Like,
yeah, that's
what did start life? What did dinosaurs actually look like? Did any other smart civilizations? Like? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get that.
That's what I want. Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if like aliens came down and they'd be like, guys, we've been recording all of Earth for like 10,000 years. We got to talk about this magic baby. Mormons, you are not going to be happy. We have Joseph Smith on amazing. Tape talking about how funny it is y'all fell for it. So.
Oh my God. I want that to be a thing.
They're like, we're ready to show you all these tapes we've been collecting. So who has a VHS player? And then Earth's like, fuck, we got rid of them all. Damn it. Shit, there's no way to play these. We'll never know what's on them. Okay.
We actually stashed all of them in every Blockbuster.
Yeah. Now rewind these when you're done. God, rewinding. Did you ever have a cassette player, like a VHS?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're young enough. You're not much younger than me, but you're young enough that like I just barely missed the cutoff. Like we got our first DVD player when I was 11. Yeah, so I thought maybe, I don't know if you remembered them, but did you guys have a dedicated rewind machine separate from the VCR?
We did when I was really little, and then we had it just with the VCR. But I remember hating the one with the VCR because it would fuck up the tape all the time. Yeah. And then you have to pull it out, and then you have to wind it with a penny or something, and then you have to put it back in and hope that it works.
Didn't fuck
and then
it
my
up.
Little brother was always putting sandwiches in there, so it's really rude. It's like, that looks right.
Play my sandwich. Code Nate says, "I take
it
a
looks
pretty."
like a toaster.
It kind of does. That's kind of right. I get it. It's like how when I was a kid, I thought, well, if I rub soap on my skin, it turns white and then disappears. So it must also be sunblock. So like one day I tried to just put on soap instead of sunblock and it doesn't work. And you end up grimy.
No.
I got in a pool.
Oh, that's wretched.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah. It was like I was sudsing up. You could tell that there's something weird about me. But that wasn't even the soap. Anyway, it'd take a pretty major economic collapse for the U.S. to abandon capitalism, in my opinion. So the question is if the U.S. as we know it would survive that. No, I don't think it would be the United States afterwards.
No, I agree with that.
10 Australian from Game Boy for Jimmy's sexy titty elbows. Best titty elbows in the galaxy. That's from Rick and Morty.
There's some lore I'm missing.
It's from Rick and Morty. It's an episode of Rick and Morty. And then Mustafa Jav says, as an ex-Muslim, I've noticed a split in ex-Muslim YouTube in regard to the Gaza conflict on supporting Palestine or Israel. As an ex-Mormon, how are you interpreting this? I don't know how to interpret it from the... I guess I can understand where people are like, Hamas is still a radical Muslim group. And Gaza is still a, I don't know what do you call them? Fundamental. They're not moderate, but they're not all the way to fundamentalist, but they're certainly not, liberal Muslim or progressive Muslim.
Yeah.
So I can see people going like, Islam is still a scourge in Palestine and making it all worse. I said it to some friends the other day. Palestine needs freedom from Israel and from Islam, or at least from Hamas. But the people who are overcorrecting, it's like, fucking, yeah, that shit's.
I don't understand. Everything is so extreme.
There's a lot of splits in the ex-Muslim community. It kind of reminds me of the ex-Mormon community where you're like, all right, you guys have all left religion. Now, which one of you are going to be libertarians and which one are going to go leftists? Because those are the only two choices for some reason, for especially ex-Mormon men. Which way are you guys going? Okay, you go this way, this way. Who's going to be a fucking homophobe and pretend that there's secular defenses of homophobia and transphobia and like those, who's gonna leave Mormonism but keep the misogyny? Mwah, misogioso.
Misogyios. Oh, that's every Mormon guy, at least for a little bit. Ex-Mormon guy.
The hard part is like, I was talking about this with, maybe it was Eve. I don't remember who, it was somebody, but I was talking about how like, especially growing up in societies like this, patriarchal society, it might've been you, maybe we talked about this once, patriarchal societies and stuff. Unfortunately, being a misogynist and being toxic and all that kind of stuff, that's the default. Like, there's people who are like, I never learned to be a misogynist or a patriarch. And it's like, that's impossible. If you don't know what the active work you did to either avoid succumbing or detoxify, you're probably still a misogynist. Because it is the fucking, in our society, it is the default.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah, you need to be able to give a long response on how you overcame it for me to believe that you overcame it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it has to start with like multiple, because here's the other one I like. If you only have one canon event where you realized you were still falling for it, you're probably still falling for it. It is a process. And I'm not even saying, I've said it many times on this channel, like, or I'll say something and be like, I might be being a little bit sexist right now, and I'm realizing that. Like, it never goes completely away, but you can work to suppress it and try to identify it before you say stupid things out loud. But that conditioning from society, like the idea, whether you still stand by it or not, will still pop into your head. And so it's like, it's funny though, when you watch people try to argue over it and you're like, both of you are fucking wrong. Cause you're like, see, for example, objectification. This is my favorite one, where you have the one side who's like, you should never objectify a woman unless she is permitted you to. And then you have the other side that are like, women are whores, they'd be happier in the kitchen. And it's like, you're both so completely wrong. You should never objectify somebody in a way that makes it their problem, but you go home and masturbate to whoever you want to masturbate to. It's
have the thoughts you want to have.
It's do not make it anybody else's problem. That's the problem. What you do in your little head, what fantasies you have, and by the way, some of you have made your fantasies of me my problem. Keep those emails to yourself, you fucking weirdos. But what I do in a fucking French maid dress in your imagination is your business. Now keep it there. Keep it in that little fucking brain of yours. If things get too weird, maybe you and your psychiatrist, but don't you bring that shit to me.
No. People tell me they've had dreams about me all the time. They're like, we were laying on the couch and you were just holding me, stroking me and telling me everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, I feel so compelled to respond to that because I'm like, that is so not what I would have expected to be like the dream that you're having of me. Where just like, everything's going to be okay, baby. Like,
it's like one of two things.
Though.
You're lying because you did have a dream and now you're trying to like get with me in the way, in the words you think that'll work. Or two, if that really happened, if that's what happens when a person who you otherwise have sexualized in your mind enters your dream, you need to go to therapy. If you're like, yo, I was listening to this Quinn audio and then I went to sleep, and then the girl from the Quinn audio showed up in my dream and told me that my dad is proud of me. And it's like, bro, go to therapy. You should not be, that should have been a sex dream, and then you should have kept it to yourself. If it is not a sex dream and you're getting fucking.
It's almost worse. It's almost worse that it wasn't a fucking sex dream.
Right.
It's like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's so much heavier.
Yeah.
And like one of my top requested audios is literally tell me everything's going to be okay. Like whisper sweet nothings and like affirmations. And I'm like, y'all, we need to have a group therapy session. Like, I don't know if I want that heaviness, that
Also,
responsibility.
What if I don't believe everything is going to be okay? There's that too. Like, what are you?
Okay right now. Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on in your life that you like the opportunity? You know, like when you've been waiting for, like, if you dream a lot, sometimes you feel like you're waiting for a lucid dream, and you're like, finally, it's here. I'm a fucking X-Man. I'm Spider-Man. Whatever. Like, that's what I do in my dreams. I usually fly or something. Like, oh, I'm in control.
That's nice.
I'm gonna fly around. Yeah. So you're like waiting for that. Like, if you have that dream, and it's just like me and nipple tassels, and you're like, oh, he's here. Finally, I'm going to make this bear submit, which only would happen in dreams. I have zero sub energy. I'm sorry to disappoint people. That's only going to happen in your dreams. Can't do it. I can't take it seriously. I feel ridiculous. I feel silly. It just doesn't work. Like, a couple of years ago, someone was like, yeah, you like that, don't you little bitch boy? And I was like, well, I'm soft as a church mouse now. What are you, like, fucking, the fuck did you just say to me? Like, fuck you, go. Go away for a week. Come back in a week.
That's how I feel when people are like, oh yeah, you're a good girl. People say that online to me all the time, and I'm just like,
good girl.
no, I'm not.
Yeah. But I've been with I've been with those people who have that little praise kink, and that's what they like, and I'm happy to oblige them. But if I show up, if you've been sexualizing me and I show up in your dream and I'm in the nipple tassels, but then instead of us getting down, I come over and hold you and tell you, like, you're not a disappointment. People love you. Go to therapy. Get to therapy. I'm disturbed that you are not plowing down. I am disturbed that that's not happening. Now, if you do plow me down, again, cannot emphasize this enough. Keep it to yourself. Objectify whoever you want in your head. But the moment you externalize that, either by like telling people, or if you're doing it a little too much in your head and you start to treat the people you're objectifying a little more like objects, that's why you got to think about it, then you've gone too far. Don't think about me when you masturbate, you sick fucks. That's gonna fucking be somebody's finishing audio. You know that weird, do you get trends? Well, you probably don't. I guess.
What do you mean?
Your Instagram algorithm probably has figured out that you aren't a dude whacking off.
Yes.
But it definitely thinks I am. So I'll just be like scrolling like reel or whatever the shorts are over there. They're not called reels. What are they called? Reels are the long ones, right?
They're reels on Instagram. Oh, okay. No, that's a reel. Yeah.
And it'll just feed me these videos of like hot, big-breasted individuals counting down from 10. And I'm just like, first of all,
1, 2.
No, the opposite. It's supposed to be like counting down to.
Nice.
Yeah, and so
I've done that in audios.
Like 10, 9, 8, and I'm sitting there like, okay, look. First of all, when I'm actually in that situation, I'm not going to go seek that. If I'm 10 seconds away, I'm going to take my hands off and be fucking. This is a terrible thing. But also, why is the next one also a countdown? Like, the algorithm should understand the countdown's only going to work once, and then maybe 20 minutes later if you've served me enough of the right stuff. But it can't be another 2 countdowns in a row. I'm not a machine.
It has a very high opinion of you, Jimmy.
I think soft as a church mouse might be a little Dicky quote before somebody gives me too much credit for that. Yeah. for that quote. Yeah. Anyway, it's just, and there's one where they there's one sound where the people in the reels can't even be bothered to do the countdowns themselves. They lip sync over a British person's 5, 4, 3. I can, yeah. And it really thinks, you know.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes it'll be like, what will be really funny is it'll be like, so there's, I follow a lot of woodworkers, but also I've fallen for it. You feed me enough, you know, the right amount of titty in a thumbnail. Yes, I've clicked enough of them that it's like injecting titties into my feed. And so then at one point it was like, did you know, Jimmy Snow, that there is a woodworker who is also an OnlyFans model and posts doing woodworking almost naked? Now, I will say she doesn't do the type of woodworking, like she mostly makes like charcuterie boards and stuff. And like, I want to see like furniture builds and stuff, but it was still incredible that the algorithm figured all of that out and was just like, all right, here's 20 videos of her making charcuterie boards. And then out of nowhere, here's a countdown. Like the algorithm thinks it knows when I'm ready. And that bothers me.
The countdown is fucking, I've done it in audios before and I'm like, how, like, what if I start counting down and then they're like, fuck, I'm not even close. Yeah. And then it just ruins it for them. You know what I mean?
See, I was thinking about that too, where it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of a tricky lay. And so sometimes it'll be a while and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I guess it's just not going to happen for me. And then suddenly it'll show up out of nowhere and I'll be like, oh, actually, here we go. Hits. And so it would be impossible, that sort of, but I do know that there are people who vocal affirmations and instructions do work for them, but not me.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like, all right, 10. And I'd be like, where the fuck do you have to be? The fuck do you?
I'm sorry. I didn't know this was a scheduled event.
One time after a concert,
it's like the Zoom countdown.
I'm going to use the word blank because I don't know if we can just use, well, fucking YouTube is, I don't know why it feels low class too. But one time after a concert, I was hooking up with somebody and they literally were like done for their part and didn't want more within them. And I don't know why I'm trying to class this up. And so they were handling the remainder of my portion with other methods, and literally like at one point did this like big long sigh and went just like, oh my God, just blank already. And I was like, all right, let's give up. It's like, that's the only thing worse. But I feel like a countdown would feel like that exact thing. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, some people like it, but yeah, no, like, fuck. All right, we're done.
It's like, I didn't know we were on a fucking time crunch. You fucking, what, you got appointments? You headed off to some appointments? Anyway, Old Man's Pain has been up here for a while. Speaking of VHS, was the 90s film Richie Rich actually a capitalist psyop to brainwash to think the rich are our friends? What about Free Willy? I mean, if anything, no, because wasn't he supposed to be like the exception, and the whole reason Richie Rich was so cool was that he wasn't the way everybody else was. So I think it was more to teach you that like there can be one of the good ones, and then a lot of people have chased being one of the good ones billionaire wise. Like Mark Cuban and Zuckerberg both try to be one of the good ones, but they're one of the better ones. But you know, billionaires can't be. There's no way to ethically be a billionaire. It's just impossible.
I know. People stan certain billionaires these days. I'm like, you don't get there without doing some shady shit.
Well, but for me, it's not even, I don't know. You could show me that Mark Cuban never like fucking had a guy whacked and legitimately like made all his money. At the end of the day, there's a limited amount of resources, and billionaires have decided they should have 90% of them. And everybody else, the rest of the world, the rest of the, you know, their few thousand or 100 strong get 90%, and the remaining billions of people get to share the 10%. And that's where I'm like, because money isn't money. Money isn't actually anything. It's what it represents. No. And with money, you buy yourself fucking food, shelter, security. And security is the main thing I call it. Like money is actually security. And so imagine it just that way. I'm a billionaire, meaning I have a disproportionate amount of security. I have more security than me or my family will need for 1,000 generations. And I'm not going to share it. I'm going to try to continue to grow that, even though I live in a world where lots of people have little to no security. Like, fuck billionaires.
Yep. Yes.
But
Not in
if
the
there's a
fun way.
billionaire
Not with
daddy
a
watching right
countdown.
now, I was like, if I got any billionaire daddies out there, I can be bought. So I got a price tag. Ain't no thing.
Wealth distribution.
That's right. Redistribute it to my pantalones. Okay. All right. Well, let's end this piece of shit.
Yeah, let's fucking get on. Just kidding.
Let's get off this fucking garbage. Cera, will you tell everybody where they can find you and what you do and anything else you want to share with them?
Absolutely. You can find me on all the things, and by all the things, I literally mean that, like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, the Quinn app under just my name, Cera Gibson. I am a musician, comedian, silly little guy in a meat suit, and I make content.
I love that.
That's me.
She's a silly little guy. In a meat suit's
Silly
pretty
little guy.
visceral, but you know, I'll take
No,
it.
it's true though. That's how I feel about myself. But it's like a good meat suit. I feel really good about the meat suit.
I must say, as I told you at the beginning, your meat suit is ravishing. I always feel weird about like putting qualifiers like the word today at the end, like, oh, you look amazing today. Doesn't that make a person think like, did I look like shit yesterday? Like, is today an exception?
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you never have called someone ravishing and then suddenly 2 years into knowing them, you're like, whoa, you look amazing today. Then it's like,
All right.
excuse me.
I think love songs are often trying to manipulate, usually men manipulate women. And here is my, let me see if you get this. You are so beautiful to me. Like, why to you? Why did we qualify to whom the beauty is perceived? Why is it to me and nobody else? Everyone else will disappoint you. I won't be perfect, but I'm the best you can do. Like it's
like the Bella from Twilight Syndrome, where it's like the most basic, not saying Kristen Stewart's basic, but like in the book, like the most basic run-of-the-mill fucking girl, but this magical mystical guy is into her, but only he can have her, and only like she's only special to him. And I'm like, I don't know if I love that messaging.
that shit's dark. There's so much like also love songs just in general. Sometimes I'll be re-listening to stuff from the past and it's just like, why did this even some stuff that's innocuous enough that like, go on and close the curtains, all we need is candlelight, you and me and a bottle of wine, and the rest of the song is basically like, get drunk with me even though you basically need to leave in the morning. And it's like, dick move. You're gonna make them get on a plane with a fucking hangover? Fucking go. How about like a true understanding companion in love song would be like, go on and close the curtains, turn in early, I got you melatonin, and would you like a foot massage? Like, you're gonna need the
I'll set
energy.
the alarms.
Yeah. Like, what is this song? Like,
Where is the song? I already set the alarm.
What is the lyric? If I'm without your kisses, is it I'll be needing stitches?
Oh, yeah, I'll be needing stitches. Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean? Is that self-harm
When
threats?
I'm without your kisses.
If I'm without
I
your
think it's just I'll be
kisses.
broken.
But
They'll be broken
stitches
without
aren't
them.
for just being, nobody talks about like, oh, my heart's so broken it needs stitches. No one's ever said that. It's like, this dude's either saying, if I'm without your kisses, I'm going to hurt myself. Or if I'm without your kisses, I'm going to very toxically avoid my feelings by going and getting fights in bars. which is what I did at 22. I had a bad breakup, and I just went and sought out fights in bars.
Oh, sounds like one of my family members, actually. I won't say who, out of respect, but yes.
Fun little Jimmy Cannon. All right.
I like that.
You'll tell me after, right?
Yeah, I will.
We're off air. Trust me. Wink. No, we're not. Don't say this.
I know.
All
we're
right.
not.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm glad you came, and I hope that you come again.
Multiple times.
You know what doesn't fit here? The intro to Dom and mine's old show.